Don't believe it. If you ever come to Las Vegas and they tell you what the temperature is, do not believe it.
They're
It
faking you out.
told us it was 91 degrees today and it's 99. They told us yesterday 93, it was 99. You might as well just said it was going to be 99 all week long.
So how are you doing?
And where are you at?
Especially all those out there in Florida and up the East Coast. I've texted a few people that I know live out that way, and they're all doing okay so far. Emery, I didn't do him. He's out there in Delaware. I didn't ask him how he was doing. So
So, some
one
of the
person's
things,
on.
yep, it's probably us. And it's unscheduled. We were trying to do live, and we were going to do something for the dealership, but back in the back
Very
room, they were
noisy.
doing tattoos and all kinds of stuff. So, who's it
Go
on?
Hill Run.
There you go. And he's been getting to be about the first one coming on all the time
He
lately.
is. He's on top of it.
And what's going on? So we did today.
Hanson's
We
on.
just
Clint's
did
on.
the stunt show. Got a lot of great video of that. We didn't stay to the very end. Once again, it's very very hot,
I don't know how those guys are doing it out there on those
and
bikes.
had a lot of bikes that they dropped. Asphalt was hot and stuff, so I got some pretty good video. That'll be coming up here next week sometime. I'll get that up. So that'll be coming up. Down at Hogs and Heifer, never really got too crazy there. The bike show, they had a chopper show last night. They had, what, 10 or 15 bikes in it?
If that.
We'll show you that. They supposed to have the girls' contest today. We just figured, normally girls,
Most of the girls' contests we've ever gone to, the bikes, there hasn't been that many to start with. And with there only being like 8 choppers there last night, I figure there's going to be like 2 girls' bikes probably.
so I didn't even go down there. So we took a ride out here. We're out here way on the other side of the South Point Casino where we were at.
Looking for
Last time.
a Dairy Queen.
And all the ones they wanted to take us to was in the casinos and stuff. And a lot of the casinos out here, the ones on the strip, they want to charge you that $15. We did find that one that we're going to be putting a video up. If you ride your bike out here, there is one that's behind the links in one of the casinos. What casino is that?
Flamingo.
In their garage, and we're going to show you where that's at. You can park for free
Motorcycle parking.
as long as you want. So that's kind of neat. And so we found that, and we're going to let you guys know where that's at. So it's great.
And we
It's
were
kind
at
of
South Point. Was it South Point? Yeah, South Point. There was a South Coast Mall, and I always get them too confused. But anyway, they had a
Second floor.
motorcycle. Yeah, parking
second
too.
floor. There's parking when you go
But
up
they
the
don't
ramp
charge to park
to
in
the
their
right,
garage either.
and you go around, and it's right there by the elevator. So it's a pretty big area. It doesn't really say motorcycles, but it's a big enough area, and that's when we got
That's
there.
where all the motorcycles were parked.
That's where we parked last night. We're not staying in South Point, so some of you might have thought we were staying at the South Point. We weren't.
Some of our subscribers were there though. Kiwi and Val, and then their friends. I forgot their name. Mike's on.
Yeah, Mike. Can't wait for Vegas to put a few on breathing. Clint's on.
I saw that.
Hi guys from New Hampshire. We put some new videos up. If you're on Patreon, we put one for the $9 people. You can kind of see a little bit of what we've seen last night. And we got another Topless Tuesday. We're almost to the end of the contest. So might be next month, we may be, or October here, we may be able to, Vegas to put a fee on breathing. Yeah, you're probably right. During the pandemic, they cut back and they were, most of the places you could park for free again. There is a handful of places you can park for free, like if you're down at Fremont Street, you can go over to that parking lot that's over by that very last casino there, where we always used to park for free all the time.
I know, I can't.
And there's a big archway there, and you pull in there, and I don't remember what that parking lot's called, but that's one we've always been able to park it for free. Hogs never had their own place for us to park, so if you had a bike, you park for free.
Yeah.
Spell check in the dark. Yep, I bet Mike that does that to us a lot too. I'm always going back and recorrecting when I put you guys comments down that it doesn't spell something right or something like that when I'm trying to write back to you. Now
It wants to put down what it thinks you're talking about.
so it's getting weird now on YouTube. They came up with something new now to where it used to be when I got into my studio on my phone, it was really easy to see what they did. Well, they've kind of totally changed it now. I don't think this phone's got studio on it. And
I think they all do.
no, yeah, it does. It opens up really crazy now, and it
Thank you,
shows you
Copeland. How you
a
doing?
lot of information, but it doesn't give me all my information. It used to be, it'd give me all my comments, and as soon as I did one, it would bring the new ones up. So I'm gonna probably have to sit down with a
Laptop.
and go through comments. I may be missing a lot of you, and So we'll see what happens.
Okay, the Copeland's on. I
Yes,
haven't
I could
seen
get-
him in a while. I've seen him on Facebook a few times. Says, hi guys, Team Nation checking in. Did y'all go to the Ozarks? No, we didn't. We're still here picking up. Oh, did you get something down there in Dallas too? Well, where did everybody else go? It is. Ozarks this year, I'm still waiting to pick up my bike. Okay, you got it rebuilt. Well, that's good. So you haven't even ridden it all summer? That's gotta be
There,
hard.
you can look on here if you want.
You need to get with Ryder X. He was without his bike most of the riding season.
So David's a new person. He says hi to us all.
David
He's
Duncan?
new to, I guess, new to our channel or new to
Minnesota.
Alive. And so, yep, up there in Minnesota. So that's pretty exciting. And what we do is we talk about.
We normally don't eat on our videos,
Yeah,
but
it's hot, and we wanted to find a place. We wanted to do it live, and I was going to schedule it, but we had no idea where we were going to. Problem with most of this stuff is there's so much music they play. Even at this stunt show, they got this stupid music going on, and then they keep cranking it up in between. They bring people out pretty quick. You do a 2-minute stunt, and then within another minute or so, they bring the next guy out. Well, they crank it up to where I don't think I'm even going to be able to put where they're from because they. I don't know. 'Cause we
and
had
then
people
even
with-
when the DJ's talking, the music's still up real loud. It's like you can't even hear what he's saying. I guess he's the MC, DJ MC. But it was like, really, man, it's like crazy. Music and talking, and you're supposed to turn down the music when you
Yeah.
talk, but
and
they're all saying hi to Mike.
yeah.
Or hi to Dave, our new
87 Ricer.
Ricer.
I don't know if you've been on before. I don't always look at all the comments. She does that. Here, I actually got him in front of me here so I can see him.
He's on almost all of them.
So Tom Sheet's son. Everything's pretty well. It's just
Hot.
really hot. Gotta wear helmets too. It's a helmet state. And so, yep. So nothing wrong with wearing a helmet, but
Yeah.
we're kind of used to not wearing a helmet most of the time when it's this freaking hot. And
Mike says, shut down the show was looking like the Walking Wounded race. A lot of them, if they dumped their bike, they ran. Like, they didn't really crash. But
like one guy was doing a stunt, and he actually was doing burnout, and the bike was rolling, and he first got up, put a knee on the handlebars, then he ended up sitting on the handlebars, and still was working the throttle and holding the brake and brake torquing it and squealing the tire, and then at the very end, he had to jump off the end, and the bike spun around and fell. So a couple of them were, like one guy was doing like donuts, and he would switch legs. So he'd have his left leg
Is
down
that
going
the
this
guy that
way.
lost his
and then,
shoe?
yeah, and then he'd go, well, a couple of guys did it, and then he went to the right and went back and forth, and then after so many times, I guess you can't keep it going. We didn't stay to the very end to see who the winner was, but if you guys seen it in Sturgis, they were actually in Sturgis. They had a competition, and they also had one
I was down
at
there
Four
in LaSalle.
Corners.
Yep.
And so kind of neat. And this is kind of the wrap up, I guess, of this, and it's kind of neat. Top prize was $2,500.
That's
So
not bad.
we gotta get Palmoto to maybe
Come up here and do his thing. Or if he comes to Sturgis. Yeah, look, this is too far away. Ken says, 251 days until Laconia Rally. You guys should come back sometime and enjoy the best riding around. Betty Marks is on. Says hello from Emoja, home of the Pumpkin Fest today. Well, there you go. That sounds good. I like pumpkin stuff. Ken Copeland said she'll be back in, hopefully, by Thanksgiving. Well, you're in Texas, so you should be able to ride pretty much year-round too, don't you, Ken? So Ryder X isn't so lucky. He lives up there in Maryland. $2,500 prizes cover $3,500 in damages. Yep, to the bike, pretty much. One guy lost his shoe, and then I think he hit the rail, and I think it's because his foot got too hot, because you're on the asphalt. He lost his shoe, and he's doing donuts, and I think that's why he hit
tennis shoes on.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be
then-
using tennis shoes to be doing.
And then the other guy, when he lost it, I think the key fell out, and he had to look for the key to find it to put it back in. Or was that yesterday? I don't know. But anyway, as long as it's sunny, I'm riding. That's good, Ken. Yep.
So once again, it's very hot here. The humidity's not too bad. So it's when you're riding on the bike, if you're on the traffic, it's not too bad. Bike right now is like around 213 when we were on the highway, which is really weird with the love jugs. The bike actually runs cooler when we're in traffic than I am when I'm on the highway. Shows those love jugs work.
There you go.
There's a plug for Adam. And but yeah, so yep.
And if any of you haven't watched Enzo Adam, you need to get on his channel and check it out because he's trying to hit 10,000. I don't think he's hit it yet, has he? So subscribe to his channel and watch him. He's a pretty good guy. He tells you the vendor life as a vendor in the motorcycle rallies. So he sells that Enzo Adam and love jugs and
So one of the things I was thinking about today is with all the turmoil going down in Florida, it's only about a week and a half away from Daytona starting. I'm thinking they might cancel. Because everything's probably going to be screwed up, and even though they might not have got hit, it's not probably real good for a state to have a big event like that when the rest of the state's in a lot of trouble. People died. There's just a lot going on.
For Fort Myers, it's like almost wiped off. I don't know if there's even anything left of Fort Myers. So.
But like Myrtle Beach, they got a lot of rain. Dealership was on the day because Stephen put a thing up on our Pating Nation, and it looked like over at Rick Rack's, and it looked like what happened was Rick Rack stayed, and a couple of the small vendors
I think
stayed.
they said Icicle was still there.
And I think what ended up happening was Rick Rack rents a tent, and so does the dealership for the bikes that they sell. I think they came in the day or so before and took their tent down. And
they didn't want to lose the tent.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame them. But I don't know. Have to see.
I wouldn't have stayed. I would have left. There was no. It's business. Business isn't that. I don't need business that bad that I want to risk my employees, and I don't want to risk my
merchandise.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot
And
of
you got
stuff
insurance, but I mean, if it. I understand they went all that way, and they got a lot of expense, and got to pay the guys and all that. But I mean, I can't believe today and yesterday. Yesterday was just awful for them. So today is a little better, but I just can't see it being worth it.
Says Bob, did you see the Yammy noob fire the guy that got him $2 million, 1 million subscribers? Who's Nanny
Yes.
Boob?
It's I don't really watch either one of them, but there was a thing that came up, and I kind of watched the guy, and I guess I don't really watch the guy's channel, so I don't really know much about the guy.
What the story is?
Yeah. So I guess this guy used to work with this guy on this YouTube. It looks more like they sat around and talked more, but I mean, I didn't watch enough of their videos to see what it was. For a guy that's that big, it's kind of sad that I never heard of the guy. So I did watch that video, and I seen that. So I guess what it ended up being is this guy helped him build his channel all up, and then he fired him off his business. And so a lot of people are all up in arms about it, and so I don't know. People, you don't never know what the other side of the coin is. You don't know what that person might have done to him. Maybe he heard he was going to go off and do his own thing. I don't know nothing. But I'm just saying sometimes you can't. I had a friend that got accused of sexually abusing his kid, and during a divorce. And I've known this guy all my life, and he even watched our girls when they were little, and when all that happened. This has happened 20 years ago, 30 years. Well, that's longer than that. I guess the girls were really little. So about 35 years ago, 35 years ago. And my friend never told nobody until it was too late, and he took courtroom supervision. Well, he was railroaded. Now he's on the child endanger, whatever, Megan's List and all that. Well, yeah, he died. And but it ruined his life, and it was because it doesn't make a difference. The point of it was that just because somebody's accused of something doesn't mean that they're really guilty. And everybody jumps to conclusions, and in the court system nowadays they say you better take a plea deal and go to court. And so I told him, I said I would have put my daughters on the stands, and they would have testified. And she would have, because there was a whole lot of other stuff we knew that was going on besides that. There was a stepdaughter.
That we never told
him.
Yeah.
And so he never told me. And so the point was,
you never know what the other
that's right.
person.
You don't know what the other side of a story is. So it's kind of like another guy. We watched this guy. He's calling you. Must have been a scam. So there's another guy we watch. Not a lot, but he's called Nomadic Fanatic, and he's a guy he's at a YouTube channel 5 or 6, I don't know, maybe 8 years now or something. And he's a full timer.
And he's really done well.
He's very different and a little peculiar. I mean, if you're in your RV living full time and you're a single guy and he's got cats, and that should be enough to tell you there. But I mean, there's a whole bunch of people been putting all this stuff about his personal life and making stuff up. And I guess one of his RVs His RV must have financed it, and I don't know if any of whatever's true, but it ended up happening. This guy, I guess, it was in a bad wreck, and it was an older RV. His slides messed up, so he remodeled the inside, and it still never was right. And it got hit in an accident. Some kid, which he had video cameras all around the camera bus or the motorhome when he drove it, and this guy pulled in front of him, and it caught the front of his motorhome. It made it look like, when I seen it, I said, he hit somebody. Well, when you watch it, he showed the video on his thing, and he's like, he didn't. The car pulled it, and he hit the guy in the side. So the guy came, he was driving down the highway, and he was in a left-hand turn lane turning. This guy jerks over and hits him in the side. So since he hit him in the side, it's that guy's fault. What was a hit and run? The guy never stopped. And of course, a big old motorhome ain't going to chase him. Well, you can't get parts for this thing because it's so freaking old. He would have had to gone to a fiberglass shop, and they would have. It was a rubber bumper, and it tore it all up, and who knows? Well, he ended up letting it go back, repoed it, and I don't know any more than that. It sold on. This guy put it on there, and then all these people put all this other stuff. Since that started, people steal stuff, and I commented on his channel today because I had somebody do it.
First year in Sturgis.
No, is that what it was? And YouTube now has a thing that tells you
Copyright.
that if they, like for instance, I'm assuming we're probably in that boat because we put so many videos out, and some of our videos do get pretty good. And so what they do is they tell you that, hey, somebody's copied your thing, and if they feel that it's been too much information or they got too many views, they will just yank them, and then they give them a strike. 3 strikes, you lose your channel. And so you always tell people, don't, and it is.
It's not worth it.
Well, I tell them all the time, you can talk about somebody. If you want to talk about me, or you want to talk about the Monkey Man, or you want to talk about whoever's a YouTuber, then talk about them. But I mean, don't steal their content and use that to try to
Grow your channel.
Yeah, and because usually it's always, and same things happen to this guy. Another guy, he got a strike, and I don't know how big a YouTuber is. I've never heard of this guy either, and this guy that we know, Nomadic Fanatic, came out with a video this morning. I think I watched it. Was it this morning or yesterday morning? And was explaining that this new guy, because they always tell you that it's a free act. That if I'm putting whatever I'm saying, you can put back on your channel because it's free information. No, it's not. What we're putting on here now is copyrighted. Don't let anybody ever tell you that anything that you take that you don't own rights to is copyrighted. And you could actually go to prison for it. And so I'm not telling, it's not a lecture to people, but it's just a thing that people, in this case, this guy was kind of emphasizing, because I watched this one guy and he said, I can do this because, not the guy that got the strike. This guy might have got a strike too, but I don't know. But his whole thing was, because I'm a news channel, I can put that kind of stuff on. Well, I don't know if you can or not. You need to get a lawyer and ask him that before you do it. But I mean, in this case, which I said, just like, you got to watch with YouTube, because YouTube gives you 3 strikes and you lose everything. You lose your name, you lose all the videos that we have, everything is gone.
Yep.
And we don't have any strikes. Everything that we've had, they even do it sometimes with music. If there's music in the background, and each time they've done us, they've always said, hey, it's just we're not giving you a strike, we're just telling you about it. And I always take it down, or I edit it to take out that song.
Right there.
So I don't care. Hopefully they don't scream.
A minute ago. So Robert Armstrong's on. He says he's from Ontario, Canada. He said it's 43 now, and it's going to get down to 28 tonight.
Where's he at?
Ontario, Canada.
Holy smokes. It's
Yeah.
cold.
No, it goes from one extreme to the other, doesn't it? Mike says, welcome to America. You're guilty until proven innocent. Basically, that's the way it is nowadays. Roadkill Ron says they've been abusing Eric for years, so he must watch him too.
And well, he dramatizes stuff too. And he's just like when he was threatened before and stuff.
He's all about the drama, I think.
If somebody threatened me me personally, sent me an email, I'd send him an email back and say, come on by, I'm waiting for you. Me and my friends. And that's why you just leave it at that. It's some people like to do that just to get your emotions up. Same thing with trolls, and sometimes you do. You look at the comments and and normally when I get a lot of, I don't get a lot of trolls anymore. I only get a few every now and then. I just kind of blow them off. It's not that big a deal anymore. Or I always write, thank you for watching, and I don't give them a heart or nothing. And it's like, well, whatever. It's people's got a right to say their opinion. If it gets too political, we don't want to get political on our channel. Everybody has a right. This is America. Whoever you vote for is fine. Whoever we vote for should be fine too. And that should be just the way it is. And we're not going to do our channel to sway people either way. Any more comments?
Mike says, I'm in for murder. What are you in for? Copyright infringement. That's hardcore. Ralphson, and he said he's moondocking in the Spearfish Walmart, and he says it's a great little town. He likes it. He says it's cloudy and cool. It's better than it is here, sunny and hot. And Dennis Harley Vlog says, hello. Hey there. So I'm assuming you do vlogs too, since it says Dennis. I think it says Dennis. Or maybe it's Darins. Darren's Harley Vlogs. Sorry about that. Hey, how you doing? So where are you from?
So normally I try to link up, but we've been so hectic and with traveling and stuff, we haven't really had a lot of time to, I don't really, very few videos I've even watched. Even Adam's stuff, I don't really get a chance to watch it. If it's like the other day, he had something up. Oh, I guess I commented when he had 2 videos he put up and wanted you guys to vote on them. I don't know if you watched them or not. And so I wrote him, I didn't want to comment because I wanted to give them.
He wanted to give him his personal opinion without letting all you guys know what he thought.
I didn't like either one of the videos, and I was going to tell him what he needed to do, and that wasn't the point he was after. He let the computer, I think, do it a certain way, and the other one, he let it go the other way. And I'm like, okay,
99 degrees here, Ralph. Jairus Harley Vlog says he met Mexi Philly and Highway Vixen at the Ozark Bike Fest. Okay, cool. So is that where you're from? Is that your area? I'm in Southern Illinois. What part?
You're originally from Illinois.
Yep. Belleville, if you know where that is.
We live there, and we also lived over in Missouri, over there in Washington.
Washington, Missouri. Washington. Can't say Washington. You get
Everybody gets
a
all
lot
bent
of,
out of shape.
yes, they do. That's how we always said it. Put the R in there, even though
So-
the R is...
So I guess in the garage we're going to end up drywalling it inside up to the 8-foot level, and so that's going to be happening soon.
after the floor.
Hopefully it's going to cool down. Actually, it's not too bad temperature there. It's actually, I don't know if it was cooler there than it was here a while ago when I
And
looked.
before, when we were in Bullhead, it was cooler up here, so it's like craziness. Spring Valley, I guess that's where we're at right now.
That's where the motel's at.
What is my Bullhead City? It says it's 99, same temperature there. It feels like 99. Low is 77. So that wouldn't be bad at night. 77 degrees.
So we got that going on. Probably going to get the electric and stuff set up soon. We're going to put that 200 amp in for now and probably put everything where it's supposed to be. And then that way when a 400 amp box comes in next year or two, I'll probably switch over to 400. And so that'll be going on. So we're going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to be doing some wiring in the garage. And the septic should be in by the time we get home. We're talking to a couple people right now about doing some grading. But
Jersey says if you know where Carbondale's at, Lake Carlisle, we used to go down there all the time. So it's pretty cool. And Illinois State University's down there too. I went to Edwardsville, not Carbondale. Mike says, did you notice the CHIPS website? I don't know. I need to put some glasses on. Can't see. The CHIPS website 8 just can't order yet. The CHIPS website, it must be up yet. Is up probably. Just can't order yet. That means they're getting close then. Well, they said around the 1st of October, didn't they?
well, that's what they told Mike. I don't know if they actually told Mike or if Mike just picked that date. We don't know. We're gonna get a hold of. Actually, she chatted with him a little bit last week.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be talking to them in the next 3 weeks. But we'll probably get a little more information next week if they're gonna start doing tickets.
So Ralph says, looks like Indian summer here in Vegas. Probably won't be there until mid-October. So you're getting close then. Daniel Bach the third says, how you guys doing? Doing good? We got to cool off here a little bit. Whoops, wrong way. A Dairy Queen. And it's hot here in Vegas. Where Jenkins is on, he says, may want to grab Bob another shake before he sucks the straw down his throat.
Gotta make sure I got it all. It's all gone. She's got a little, she'll be looking the inside of the cup.
Bill, this is my favorite. Georgia
So,
Mud Fudge.
Yeah, so I don't know,
But I
maybe
don't
we'll go
think they
down
made it
to,
with the chocolate
maybe we'll
ice
go
cream
to
like I asked.
outdoor, what's that outdoor place? Bass Pro, is that what's down there? Maybe we'll go down there and look around. I've been in there for a while. It's on the way back.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we're going to be over by the strip. I don't know if we'll film anything over there or not. We'll see what's going on. Probably not going down there tonight. We got some footage of last night of Fremont Street. We'll have to wait and see how much I can put on. But we can't, pretty much, you're not going to get to probably hear what's really going on
Too
because
much music and stuff going.
if you're on Patreon, like I said, I put a little bit of that on today. If you're a $9 person or up, you can see that. I put that up this morning with a Tuesday special. So those are up if you want to check those out. And what else we got going on?
Did you put everything out this morning on Patreon? You didn't put nothing on regular? There was a lot of interesting people on Fremont Street.
Well, if you've ever been down there, it is anyway. But I mean, we found some people that weren't they got those little circles, and you can, I don't think they rent them out. I think it's first come, first served, get in those circles.
But you got to stay in that circle.
Yeah, and you can do your act or whatever you're doing. If you're making flowers out of palm leaves, or you're Superman standing there trying to take pictures, or Chewbacca in a suit, and
Chewie was down there.
girls that are half dressed or really a quarter, maybe an eighth dressed, and with some pasties
There's
on.
Emery. How are you doing out there on the East Coast? Did you get hit too hard? I
So-
was saying this earlier. I was texting everybody, and I was like, oh, darn, I didn't text Emery to see how he fared with the remnants of Hurricane Ian. Did you mean the Freak Street? Freak Show Street? Pretty much. It's very similar to Venice Beach.
Now, if you ever go to California, that's one thing you need to do,
Rain
spend
and
time
low
on.
wind. That's
On the
good. I'm
weekend,
glad you're okay.
Saturday or Sunday, is to go to Venice Beach and walk from Santa, you don't have to go all the way to Santa Monica. You can get all of Venice and walk down. It's about a mile or so. You got a bunch of shops and stuff along there, but it's very, very entertaining. There won't be anything you haven't, when you walk away, there won't be anything you haven't seen in your life. You'll see it all there. And Fremont Street's a little bit like that. They don't allow the girls with the pasties, but they have a lot of other stuff going on.
Emery said they got just a little rain and some wind. Little wind.
Okay.
Just rain and a little wind. Jerry said he tried to get ice cream today. You guys are in Tennessee, right? How come you couldn't find ice cream? He says everything's really scarce down there. In Tennessee, I wonder why.
So,
Is it because the,
no,
I
there's
don't
no
know.
reason why.
well, I mean, the trucking and the gas and everything
Well,
else?
Tennessee, you're not that close to Florida. Because Florida, like now, if you're in Florida, I feel sorry for you because they're not getting gas down there. It's kind of like when all the other problems that you have in some of these states that the trucks won't even, when there's storm warnings and stuff like that out, they won't even send the gas trucks out. They have to sit until they know it's safe and then they can run back out. And then, of course, everybody panics. Kind of the same thing happened in Myrtle last year when the
gas
pipeline
shortage.
broke. There was guys pulling up with
It
like
was
55-gallon tanks on the back of their trucks and just filling them gas. And it's like, told the stupid gas station, you can limit these people. You tell them they get 20 gallons and that's it. I can see getting, filling some cans of gas up for a generator or something like that. But to sit there and take 55-gallon drums and fill it up with gas.
Well, Ralph said he wanted to know what the price of gas is because he said it's going way up again. Up in Sturgis area, it's going way up again? Wow. And Mike says he'd go to Venice Beach, but he has a home, so he's not allowed there.
There's
Hopefully Oktoberfest is still on. That's what he was saying earlier. He doesn't know how they can maybe do that because it's been so hard hit,
Florida itself. And, there's a lot of rain and all that kind of stuff. And I understand things should go on, but to have an event like that when you're bringing people from other states to a state is really going to be hurting. And
Unless they figure it's gonna bring income into the state, I don't know.
the money's not going to go where they need it. That money's going to stay there. The tax money and all that stuff stays there. It's not going down to Fort
Yeah, I
Myers
know.
or any of the other places that got hit hard. So it's. But to me, it's even like Myrtle Beach should not have went ahead and opened up again today. After all the stuff that happened there, it should have just been that's it. Tell the vendors to go home. But see, none of those places like the Harley dealer, they won't give no money back. And so that's probably why they were like, oh yeah, you can stay if you want, because they don't want to, if they told them you had to leave, you would have to refund the money for the days they left. So that's probably what they're after. They're not worried about, their customers. They're worried about their bottom line like everybody else is.
The gas in California, he says it's gone crazy, not in Sturgis.
Here we
Here's
paid, what did we pay for premium yesterday when we gassed up? It was $6 and
$6.39, something like
for
that.
premium. But I mean, I didn't go shopping for it. For the motorcycle, we just pull into it. I think it was a Shell station or something.
Yeah, it was Shell.
I don't really, when I look at the gas, filling the tank up 5 gallons or something, putting it in a motorcycle, I'm not necessarily looking for the cheapest place because even if you went someplace else and you save 50 cents, you're going to drive all over to save, $2.
Gary says the gas in Tennessee is $2.79 and diesel's $4.
We left home, what was it at home?
$3.33 we paid for regular gas.
Yeah.
That wasn't diesel, that was put in the family truck.
Yeah. So that's our price that we have back in Arizona.
Mike says
Doesn't
sheer
like
loss of hotel rooms has got to be massive. I know. And like I said, Fort Myers looks like there's not even a town there anymore.
And just like that along Daytona, the beaches are all messed up. So anybody that's staying in any of those hotels along there, it's kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of really glad we decided 6 months ago that we weren't going to go down there. And it's a good call. And I had thought about maybe flying into Daytona, but actually, airline tickets are actually coming down again, which is crazy. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. We are actually, on my birthday, we are going to Denver. We told that yesterday on the thing. And we got a special treat that's going to happen on that live that Wednesday. Did you say it's 27th?
I think that's what it was.
So stay tuned, mark your calendars, and whatever your normal time is that we come on, because you will not believe what we're going to have on our channel. It's going to be shocking. It might change.
No,
The
the
world might stop.
26th. The 26th.
The world might
Wednesday the
stop.
26th.
Heck, it might even make the world go backwards for a minute. Your toilet, instead of going this way, it's going to go that way. You'll be thinking you're in Australia.
Matt J says that the gas there is $3.25 in Florida. So what part of Florida are you in, Matt? And I hope you're okay in your house and everything's okay. Ralph says snow in parts of Colorado already. That's what I was afraid of.
We're worried about that too.
Mike says, is it Bob Seger? Is that the surprise?
He's coming on the channel. He's going to sing Beautiful Loser.
A lot of crime in Venice. Culver City's a better city. Governor, pretty boy, Gavin Newsom is hollering that gas is comparable.
Compared to who? New York? They got a close race with New York.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's about the only person that's...
North Central. Alrighty. So how did you fare during the storms? So are you up by Tampa? Or I guess more
Or
like
Central would
Orlando.
be-
Orlando. Did Disney open yet?
I don't know.
He said that would be the key. When Disney says, we're open, everything's all back to normal.
Yeah, you would know it'd be safe to go back down to Florida. But I don't know. I'm just saying that having it's just like New Orleans. With all the things that happen in New Orleans, I don't know if I would want to go down there right after a hurricane.
Well, we did during Katrina, but it didn't hit Florida. It did, but not as bad as it did Louisiana. We went down right after Katrina, because remember we got that rental car, and we're like, there's no gas in it. And they're like, that's okay, just bring it back like that. And they threw the keys at us and ran. And I'm like, that's weird. We weren't thinking, because it was Katrina hit like the end of August, and we were down there the 1st of September. And we're driving and driving and driving. and that gas station's closed. That gas station says it has no gas. There's no gas station there. It's like, okay, we're on empty. And we couldn't find gas. We finally just had to pay the first state. You remember that? Anyway, we did. And it was right after Katrina. But like I said, that was in Florida. What did you turn into a wrong car?
Because I'm going to say something in a minute. We're going to tell you a story about this in just a few moments. So stay tuned for the fun. This is almost like the Chicken Lady episode. Oops, did go back. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
Lake City. Oh, I know where that is. We just had wind and power outages. Yep, it's been crazy. I think they said there's still over like a couple million people without electricity in Florida. And my girlfriend still can't get to her house. She needs a boat to get to her house. And they said there's a boat that would take her to her house, but where she has to leave her car, she doesn't want to leave it because it blew the windows out of it. So she doesn't want to leave it on the side of the road, 2 miles away from her house. It's a mess. But she's still staying with her son. So yeah, Lake City, we just had wind and power outage. So Lake City was real close. Is that where we did the RV thing? Was it Lake City?
I think so.
So we stayed at Sun and Fun, where the aviation school is for the kids. That's where we stayed. That was 2020, the beginning of 2020. We were there. And we went to Lakeland Harley Davidson dealer. Did you see that? That's a nice dealership.
Done a couple videos from there.
Yep. Ralph says Myrtle Beach is an ocean. North Myrtle, because we've got a couple friends that live, well, Steven.
He took pictures this morning, and I just showed some of his pots on his front porch. It fell over. So he said he really didn't.
He didn't even lose power, he said.
No. So it just.
And
Richard
Richard Brooks
I think
was on the line.
anybody that's. Which I think a lot of this is just like in Fort Myers and stuff like that. There's all those little islands, not really islands, I don't know what they call those. They're almost like seawalls that are actually communities that they have before you get.
Like Sanibel Island, Pine Island, all those right
So
there.
all those got the brunt of everything before it ever hit mainland. So, in the water and all that, so it had to get through there before the waterway would go. Because the water between those and the mainland isn't that big. So it's not that far, so it's...
Well, even the causeway between Sanibel and Fort Myers, that road gave
Well,
out.
if they're watching the news, they've seen it. It's
I know.
everything they're posting it on a regular basis. But it's if we were set up to go to Daytona, I wouldn't be going just because of that. It's just too much going on, and to think about those people in that state, I'd be more likely to go down there and help out than I would to go to a motorcycle rally. But I mean, that's me. May not be you. And, and they have to decide what they're going to do. But I mean, a lot of that stuff, that's what they have to do. They look at this money, like Destination Daytona. That hotel's the only time it's ever sold out is during that event, twice a year. So if they say, well, we're going to postpone it or whatever, then you have to give the money back to the people, and that's what's tough about it. And I don't know. Let's put it that way. How many of you are planning on going to Daytona for Biketoberfest? And is your plans not changed? And are you still no problem going? I'm riding my bike. I'm putting in a trailer, whatever I am. I'm going to the campground. I'm going to the hotel. Have you checked on any of that to make sure everything's fine still? I don't know. Well, it's just like they always say, Cackleberry, whenever it rains, it floods. That thing might be just a swamp back there now. I don't know. In 2 weeks, it ain't gonna dry out. Yeah. So I don't know. The Monkey Man's going. I know he had it on his list before that he was going. Earlier, he said he was going. But I mean, I wouldn't. But he is a Floridian, so I don't.
Yeah, it's not too far away for him.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Even at that, it's my state. It's just like my state. If my state had something going on, let's say
catastrophe.
Yeah, something bad happened in our state, I would, and we had an event going on. Either I would postpone it a month or so, or I would just cancel it. And I know it's tough for everybody's, to do something like that. But
Mike said that the hurricane, or not Mike, Ralph said the hurricane slam the Carolinas too. I know I talked to Katie today, which is Adam Mamsoil's wife, and she said they didn't hardly get anything, but they're surrounded by mountains, so when anything comes up, it kind of avoids them. It's kind of like where we live in Bullhead. And then Ralph also said instead of a bike rally, it'll be a boat rally.
I bet. As long as you bring your boat with you, because you ain't no boats down there in any good shape. So it's like I say, I don't know. Like I say, once again, I'm really glad we decided not to go. And I would hope by spring that everything would be it's never going to get back to normal, because just like you go down to New Orleans and see how bad they've been hit over the years, and they're still homes, and because it ends up being, that's one of the reasons we did. We ordered all my 2x4s, got those ordered.
Because you guys reminded us the price of wood's
So
probably
the
going to go
drywall I
up.
wasn't quite so concerned with. I figured it'd be that, but it looks like now my birthday's coming up, so Home Depot's giving me up to 24 months for financing, so we're probably going to go back
More money you can spend.
and order all of the drywall and get all of the epoxy, the nails, and all the stuff that we're going to need, my electrical wire and the plugs and all the crap we're going to get. We're probably going to order it and pile it into our double car garage at home. Until where else am I going to put it? I'm not leaving that crap outside. Where else are you going to put it at?
I have no idea.
What, in the living room?
I thought you were going to put it on the side of the house.
No, I'm gonna put it out. Where do you get the trailers there? They gonna put it out there?
No, on the other side.
I ain't putting it out there. Some crackheads will steal it. Make a home out of it.
There's a,
They climb over the fence. We got crackheads that live around
We've
us
got-
on bicycles. Anybody that's over 20 years old that out riding a bike on a daily basis, we consider those tweakers. Look it up in the dictionary if you don't know what a tweaker is.
Peeps boats now on their front porches. And basically, he says the
There's one guy,
California is
that's what
also
we've
due
seen.
for
We've
a big earthquake
in,
in California.
Myrtle Beach, they had one. We seen one before we left. They had this giant yacht is in between two houses now, and then like
It's a houseboat.
But now it's just the house. It's no longer the boat. I'd
just-
just leave it there. Put a deck up on the front of it, and
We're home.
thanks for inviting us over. Natural catastrophe. Hey, don't like it, complain to God. You put it there.
I don't know. Yep, it was crazy.
Yeah. So,
We got 31 on. 28 thumbs up. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up before you leave us, if you gotta leave. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
we talked about all that, and we got a lot of stuff coming up. We got a lot of videos in the queue that we got to just kind of pick and choose what we're going to put up. Some of them, like some of the stuff we did for Sturgis last year, I'm probably not going to even edit them till later in the year. Some of the rides we went on, and we'll use those as videos to give you guys ideas of rides to do. We're going to do a series of stuff. I'm not going to tell you a lot about that because it seems to be, we have other YouTubers that watch our channel, and I think they get my ideas when we talk about stuff. So we're not going to talk as much as we used to. We may eventually do it on Patreon more. Maybe they really figured out how to do a live, and I don't know how many of you would actually come on a live on Patreon. I see some of these guys do lives on regular YouTube, and they've got like 2 or 4 people. If you only had 2 or 4 people, this is even kind of sad.
33.
But it's 33. But I mean, some of these people that have 2 or 4 people and they've been on for like an hour, it's like, at that point I would pull the plug. It's probably, if you got your phone on and he's got his phone on, you're talking to yourself.
Especially if nobody's commenting.
Well, usually the ones I looked at when I just kind of thumbed through them, it's one guy, like it's their monitor, is all the way down. It'd be like Mike, and all the comments are Mike's. And as soon as you thumb them all down, he's the only one talking to you. At that point, you might as well just bring him on and talk to him that way. I don't know.
I think he asked if we were still on for doing the floor.
Yes.
Yep. Hopefully it'll cool down.
Yep. So that's the plan still, because I got to get it done. Because we got to get it done here soon, because I want to be able to start, as soon as the floor is done, I think I'm going to clear coat it too. So, I don't know if you're staying that long or not, but that you don't have to.
I think he only has those 2 days,
Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday.
So, yeah, that's fine. So, I'll clear coat it towards the end of the week again, probably. I don't know. Somewhere along the line, we're probably going to clear coat it, just as an extra.
Precaution.
Yeah, try to make it last longer. And then from then, I'm going to start building the 2x4 stuff, making the framing for the walls, go all around the outside, and then figure out where I'm going to put the studio. And I actually going to need more 2x4s for that. And all that. So Got all of it figured out. We're going to be asking, we're going to give you guys, which will be just something we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, we're going to have a contest, the way you can get free stuff. And the way it's going to work, it's not starting today, so don't start putting your stuff in. We're going to start asking if you bought something for your bike, not necessarily from Harley Davidson, excuse me, if you found something on Amazon or eBay, or something unique that you found on that you use on your bike or travel with, like you use it like, hey, I got this great
Charger.
yeah, that just charges my phone up in just a matter of time, it's really convenient, all da 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 da. You can email it to us, not your product, but what you got, a link to it, and tell us about what you like about it. And what we're going to do is we're going to start doing, once you get closer to the garage being done, we're going to have one day a week, we're going to call it Tech something. Tech Tuesday, Tech Friday, whatever it's going to be. And it'll be the same day every week, hopefully, that's my goal, that we'll talk about products. And I don't necessarily want to always rely on all these aftermarket places. I don't want to rely on Zero, and I don't want to rely on
Advent Black.
or whoever it might be to be pushing products on a regular basis. We're going to do some Zero stuff. We're going to do some of that stuff. Probably not. If we get an old bike that's really beat up, we might do some Advent Black stuff, and we'll explain why we do it. And but I think I'd rather just get it all primered and then just have somebody else paint it if that's the issue. But I don't know yet. We haven't looked into any of that yet. But it's something we're thinking about doing, is having a contest. And what we would do is if you want your thing that you recommended would turn out to be the tech, what we do
Talk
for
of
the
the
day,
day.
then you get something free. And we'll have a little list of stuff you can pick. It could be a t-shirt or a hat or whatever it might be. And maybe when we get closer to Sturgis, maybe it'll be some of that really neat stuff like free tickets to the Buffalo Chip or whatever. And we might have a lot of neat stuff like that too. But it's something so you guys can kind of think about it. If you bought something like, hey, I bought this off of Amazon, or hey, I bought this off of eBay, or hey,
Found it at Home Depot, wherever you
I bought
found
it from
it.
Wish, and I'm really happy with it.
We were afraid. Boy, we were talking to a guy the other day, and he was sold on
He
Wish.
bought his motorcycle grips. He got.
He said, same as Harley, just don't have their name on it. He says, that's the best grips I ever bought. He got them for like $9.99 instead of $299.
I should go get me something to drink. I'm not dying of thirst.
I don't know. Alrighty, there's a few more questions. Oh, geez, you got 3 or 4 questions. More Sportsters than I can believe. Dennis says he remodeled a lot of the Home Depots out here in Vegas, so that's pretty cool. I don't know. I gotta see how to say this. Am I saying your name right? Darnis. Darren's. Is it Darren's? Is that how you say your name? Am I saying it right? No more Sportsters. Can't believe it. Oh, I know. I just heard that in the dealership.
Yeah, I can't believe it either.
And then Darren's, no, we're not gonna go to Hog Rock because our base now is in Arizona. So we're in hot
We'll go get us
desert.
something to drink. Stay tuned for a minute here, and then you can see this chicken bone.
Some of them may not know what that is.
Let's go back. We have to put that link up. Put that link up for chicken bone, and you would laugh about it. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So I don't know where we were at. I don't know. She left. I don't remember where my minute was at. Let's see what you guys are saying. I have no more Sportsters. Are you guys going to Hog Rock next weekend? No. Mike's getting ready to head out, and we'll be going home Monday. Well, I think what Harley Davidson has to do, and yeah, I don't know. I blame this on all of America. One of the downfalls of America, and hopefully you're not one, is these engineers that are all running these companies now. And the company I worked for in California was like that too. They used to hire people that you had to work your way up through the company. And then they started hiring these engineers that had no idea, nothing about the product that they were selling, but they knew a lot about numbers. And they think that by numbers, they can look at it and they can predict anything that happens. Well, they can't. And it's just same things happening with Harley Davidson. It's happened really with the motorcycle industry altogether. They really don't get what's going on. And the problem is that the next generation that we have right now, not really into the motorcycle thing. They're not really into group riding. They're not really into touring. They're not really, they might get an off-road bike and do some riding or something like that. But
They don't have tea, and that's their soda machine.
Because they have nobody to work.
look and see if it's got lemonade in it,
You wanna try lemonade?
I guess.
Okay, come on. Let's go.
So,
I get it. Bring it back.
I don't know. I'm just gonna say, Harley Davidson now with the sports dress, what's it start at $13,000 or $14,000? Who the hell can afford to buy that? A young guy that's got a family or just a single guy. So it's like, they're pricing themselves out of the market, and now they've taken all of us. If you're, 60 years old or older, you're in the industry that they could care less about you anymore. They only really they're going after the millenniums. So, and it's the same thing, the Pan America is a great bike. It's in Triumph. When I talk to them, they say it's a great bike. But like I've said before, if I was a Triumph guy and I'm an adventure bike and I bought the very first intro level bike and I've worked my way up and I'm getting ready to buy the #1 best-selling Triumph, best bike they've got, adventure bike, I'm going to go and buy the Harley one now instead. No, you're not. They're going to buy the Triumph one, and they're going to stay where they're at. And I understand Harley wanted to build the best, the biggest, and the best, but I think the people they're selling it to are the people that already have a Harley. People that are, So I don't know. I don't know. I really feel sorry for this industry, and it's kind of like what I did today. I talked today. I've been talking to the dealerships. See, Bike Fest here has died. It's the promoter was just another moron, and he can't make it work right, so it's gone. And I had an idea, and I ran it across a couple people, and they said you don't realize how much it costs to have something in Vegas, because this is the 5-year anniversary. Oh, I think it's today. The shooting here at the country show, and all the different things that happen. It's very, very, very expensive here. You're looking at, to do a week-long event, you're looking at about $300,000. And this was a couple years ago price, about 4 years ago price, $300,000 just for the police department, and that's the county. You're not allowed to use the local police. You have to hire the county police, Clark County. So there's your biggest expense right there, because they have to be at your event. And that's a requirement to get your license. If you don't hire the police department, you don't get your permits. So, I don't know. This is kind of sad that what's going on here. Hogs and Heifer, they had a little, not their problem, but they're doing a bunch of construction down there around Fremont Street. A bunch of streets closed off. So they're kind of, you got to walk between a petition for a block to get there. It used to be a really bad area. Now you're squeezed between, you don't have much of a choice to pass those people and to get to Hogs and Heifer. So they really only have a little event in front of their place. And last night we were down there, and there really wasn't any crowd at all down there. If there was 50 people, it would be a miracle. And they had fun with the 50 people that were there, but they weren't getting the draw from Fremont Street because you can't see it because all the screens are up from the fence with the tarps and stuff over it.
That's the tea out of that thing, but I don't put much sugar on it because all I have is the sweet tea too.
So the comment we had with the people that we showed you to, we got here and there was nobody in the place. Okay? And these people walked in with the 2 screaming or 3 screaming little kids that came through. And of course they had to sit right next to where we're sitting at. And there's plenty
The
of tables.
whole dining
Yeah.
room was open.
But yet they had to sit next to us. I should have left the camera on. You guys could have watched the I don't know if she was the wife or what, with the hog ring in her nose and eating an ice cream. I said she could have. Some of you need to go back and watch the Chicken Lady back when we were in.
Wellborn. What's that? It's like, it's not Lake City. It's like
I should download that and make that
a regular video.
yeah. The
Oh my
Chicken
gosh,
Lady.
it was a good. You have
People
to put
just
all
was
the comments
crazy.
on.
We didn't even notice it. But it was, we were sitting in a restaurant just like this, and
But there
same
was a
thing.
booth behind us.
Same thing happened. We went in this restaurant and we said, it was a barbecue place, and we said, hey, we want to do a live here. Is there any way, we'll just use a phone. It won't be real big. Won't be, you won't even know we're here.
They said, okay, we'll put you back over here in this far corner, because there was a plug and everything, and we're like, great, because they had the whole rest of the restaurant. We were back here in this little corner. So what do? They put a guy right behind us.
Well,
and
first
he
they
gets
put
up and leaves.
first they put in front of us. They put 6 people but 6 guys, which wasn't a big deal. It was, a bunch of guys come and have pizza or barbecue, and they were drinking. They were okay. Well, then they put another couple right behind us. So it wasn't a big deal. Nobody really didn't really see them, and they left. Well, then this other people came, and this old lady, I don't know if she had any teeth or not.
Well, I think they
She
were
was-
back to back the first one. The next ones, they were
You
sitting
could see her
facing
between
us.
us when we were sitting like this, and she was taking that chicken bone and just sucking off the meat off the bone. And everybody was talking about her, and it was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, look behind you, and it's like, so it was
Anyway.
the chicken bone lady story, and that went on for quite a while, about 6 months before they quit talking about the chicken bone lady.
Oh, by Mike. Mike
Yeah, he
says
already
he's got to
left.
go.
I
Okay.
probably missed that. He's
Had
probably
a
gone.
great time. Have a great time in Vegas. Yep. We got 2 more days. Tomorrow we have to do a presentation. Mike says, I bet they resurrect the Sportster in a few years. I bet they do too, because I think that's probably one
But
of
they're
the...
going to have to come out with something else. I think the Sportster sales probably have gone downhill. And so Harley's trying to, I think they're trying to rejuvenate themselves, and they're trying to figure out what we can do to make people buy motorcycles again. And so they're trying all this stuff. They tried that Sportster S, they've tried the Pan America, they tried the
Live
Livewire,
Wire.
they've tried all this stuff. And it's like, okay, we can't figure it out. That's right, because you don't even know what your freaking customers want to buy. And I always say the same thing. I said, which dealers don't like my offer, but I said, everybody, Harley dealerships should be giving free rider edge course to anybody that wants to learn how to do a ride for free. No requirement to buy a bike or not. It'll pay off in the long run. Second thing I wanted to do is anybody just like me, people that are 60 and over, send them a 25% discount. Not for them, for an immediate family member, just like us. We have we have 2 son-in-laws, and we have 4 grandchildren.
Or grandsons.
And we probably, if we had the 25, it could be on a new or used Harley. It had to be a Harley product, new or used, so that way they can get into a halfway decent price bike, a used bike, but get 25% off, and let Harley eat that. And the idea is to get who better to sell your bikes than us that own them. I don't know. But I'm really afraid that in the next 10 to 15 years, this industry will be gone. There'll be no more Sturgis, there'll be no more Daytona Bike Week, there'll be no more bike weeks, period. And people argue with me, but
That'd
wait
be
and see.
downer.
You're saying that that's what it is. This is a dying industry. The sales aren't what they used to be. Look at the people that ride in touring groups. The hog groups aren't what they used to be. And it's sad that it has that way, but the next generation just doesn't want to do what we did. They don't want to go on a long tour. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. Oh yeah, there is some guys. There is some 20-year-old guys. There's some 18-year-old. We've met some 17, 18-year-old guys at the rallies that are all into bikes, but their parents have got them into those bikes all along. Well, that's the difference. None of my son-in-laws ride a motorcycle. None of my grandsons ride a motorcycle. We've had them ride some ATVs, but none of them, I don't know if I trust any of them on a motorcycle without taking some kind of course.
No.
So that's the problem, because their family don't teach them
Well,
nothing
see, we
about
grew
this.
up on mini bikes and then bicycles. I mean, our grandkids don't even really ride their bicycles. They have bicycles. They don't really ride them. I mean, we rode our bikes everywhere.
And the kids out nowadays, all they're doing is playing on their phones. So that's why I said, by the time those kids get ready to start driving cars, motorcycle is going to be the least of what they're thinking about. All they want now is an electric riding bicycle. I've never seen so many electric bicycles on this last trip to Oregon and Washington. Well, I know we've probably seen 1,000 electric bikes and seen 2 pedaling bikes with no
That's
electric motor.
what I said, because a lot of them are older people, and then the rest of them were younger kids. And it's like, yeah, they take their keys away from the older adults that shouldn't be driving a car anymore, and they give them these electric bikes, and they're like zipping all over the place. I'm like, oh, is that any better? I don't
But
think
what
so.
it is, it's just, so that's why I said it's, and that's what people say, oh, the rallies have changed, they're not like they used to be, and the one thing that we're going to do a video on here soon is about the price of food, and how much, everything costs so much at a rally. To me, yes, but it costs everywhere. Just like this trip. We spent about, not here, but when we went up to Washington State, we paid about $150 a night for motels. Just a few years ago, we could find decent hotels under $100 a night with no trouble.
Yeah.
Everything is more expensive. Just like now, I just happened to look in Sturgis just to see what their normal room rates are right now. And for that little hotel on, is it Junction?
Junction.
There, that little one, it's called the Sturgis Inn or something. I don't know what the hell
Sturgis
it's called.
Hotel.
Sturgis Hotel. It's not that one on Main Street. But I mean, it's $70 a night. You know, I thought I'd look at that, it'd be like $20. It'd be like a, Motel 6 in an off hours.
Over in Laughlin, on the weekdays, you can get a room for 18 bucks, sometimes 12 bucks a night. Well, that was last year. I don't know. Maybe they went
I
up
mean,
too.
there's probably still around $30, but now everybody's got the resort fees they're sticking on. I mean, you can still go over to Laughlin and probably
That's
50 to
probably
75 bucks to get a nice room in Laughlin during the week, and because there's nothing going on, or a weekend there's nothing going on. During the winter and stuff, not a whole lot, and they're cheaper. But I mean, it's people go. I guess it was over at the Full Throttle, I guess, for a hot dog and a soda or something. They were complaining it was $26. And I wrote one today on our big Facebook page group, the 33,001. And I told this one guy, I said, first of all, when you go to the football game or a baseball game at a stadium, why do they charge so much for the freaking beer? And, if you go to the movie theater, why do they charge you so much for a freaking box of popcorn? Why? And then you wonder why Sturgis charges money.
Because they can.
Well, they say, what's the American way? It's
free
they're
enterprise.
chasing people away. They're doing that. No, they're not. They're going to chase some moron about you because you're sitting there whining about a hot dog. And one guy goes, well, my buddy was, he's,
Diabetic.
yeah, diabetic. He had to have something to eat. Well, you stupid moron. He shouldn't have been drinking in the first place. And you should have thought about feeding him before you got to the buffalo chip. You stupid moron. You really thought about your friend real good. I sure don't want to go riding with that guy. And I'm a diabetic.
Well, it's diabetics. He should have brought snacks. A lot
That's
of
right.
diabetics have
Candy bar.
raisin or a candy bar.
Whatever
or
they need, depending on their
a
diabetic.
glass of juice.
But just like that, I didn't pay no $26 for a hamburger, no place. I think the most expensive we paid, and it was actually over in Rapid City, I think it's 60s, it was $17.50 for a burger. That was the most expensive. That was a regular restaurant that didn't raise the prices. So that's their normal price.
$25 for a turkey leg.
And it's like, don't buy the stupid turkey leg if you don't want it. But same thing. Have you been to any state fairs lately? Mm-hmm. How's that working for you? I mean, people, I don't know what they think when they go to Sturgis. I guess they think everybody should have 50-cent draft beer and give free food away, I guess. I don't know. Or 50-cent hamburgers. I don't know what you people think. I go there and I know it's going to cost us money. But I mean, over these last few years, even from the very first time we went and stayed at Kathmandu, she still thinks it cost us around over $1,000 to
I
stay
think it was
one week.
$1,200.
So
I'm pretty sure.
It's really not. I bet you he's not more than a couple $100 now, more than it was 12 or 15 years ago. So is that much?
No.
But I mean, I don't know what people. I don't know. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of the people that whine and complain have never been to Sturgis. They don't really know what it is. Because just like I said, there's places you can stay for free. You can go out there where Scotty Tramp is staying for free place to stay.
Yep.
And he even had a Johnny on the spot this year. Go take a bath in the creek. You won't even have to pay for nothing. And you can go down to McDonald's. You could eat at McDonald's every day. They don't jack their prices up. Go in there and get you a hamburger and fries and a cup of water.
If you download the app, you get freebies every day.
There you go.
Free French fries or free burger or
Yeah,
free
and we ate
something.
there quite a few times this week
We
when
did.
we were there.
Yeah.
Not the greatest food in the world, but it's cheap and it's
Fills you up.
Yeah. And we watched where we ate. We ate at we ate at the Knuckle during the rally, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was probably $30 for both of us to have a sandwich, fries, and a couple of iced teas. But we just ate yesterday here in Vegas at the barbecue place, and it was $45.
With
It
the
was
tip, 50 bucks.
$17.95 a sandwich with the fries, and it was $5 for an iced tea.
You got a drink. I didn't get a drink.
Yeah, so it was $45 when we left.
And I'm not paying $5 for a glass, something to drink. I'll drink a water. Thank
Now,
you.
am I whining and complaining that it was that expensive? No, because I'm in Vegas. That's a place I wanted to eat. They usually have pretty good. They put slaw on my. We're not
Barbecue.
That's not the kind of barbecue we eat. It's crazy how all around. There's certain parts of the United States that put slaw on your barbecue. That's the way they make it. And then they think all these other states think, oh, we're going to do what they do because we're there. It's like when they always say it's St. Louis ribs. Unless you eat St. Louis ribs, the St. Louis ribs that you eat everywhere else is not St. Louis ribs. It's like Chicago's style pizza is not like that. Go to the one place in Chicago that makes the Chicago pizza, and you'll never eat anybody else's Chicago style pizza. It's just a name. It's just a scam to you.
Real Chicago deep dish pizzas in a
Anybody else
bowl.
ask you a question?
There's a
Oh,
bunch
that's
of
one
things.
that-
Oh, Joe's put something up that I have to approve. So anyway, they're talking about mini bikes. They said they grew up on mini bikes and stuff. Joe said his first scoot was a Chrome out in J.C. Penney's, and then $5 for a bag of cheap potato chips.
I mean, that's what it is right now in a convenience store.
$2
She's
beer
seen a
night
vending
at
machine yesterday at the Harley store, and for a little bitty bag of chips that probably had 3 of them in it, it was $1.50. So how many bags did we buy? None. Because we ain't gonna pay $1.50 for
No.
4 chips.
Ralph says $15 to eat at McDonald's if you get one of their meals. They have a $1, $2, and $3 menu, and then I've got that app, so I usually can get either a free large fry or a free large fry for $1. Usually one or the other, and then I get the $2 cheeseburgers or the $1 cheeseburgers. So I get him 2, I get 1. We share the large fry, and they have the $1 drinks. So usually
Less than
between
$10.
it's usually around $6 to $8 is usually what we eat for at there's
So
Palmetto.
there is. But you can also go to, it's like we went to the Pizza Ranch. Yeah, they raised theirs a couple of bucks, but I mean, it's
all you
normally
can
like,
eat.
it's $13 or something. I think they move it up to 15 or 16 bucks. It's all you could eat. So make it your last meal, and pig out. And eat the chicken and the pizza. And
Or you go in and eat like a late lunch, early dinner, and
That's
pig
it.
out, and then that's your one meal for the day. So if you figure that's your lunch
And you
your
get
dinner,
free
you
drink
get
with
$8.
it. Drink comes included.
Yep,
So, like I say, there's places. Uncle Louis doesn't raise the prices at all.
yep.
And so, yeah, there's plenty of places. And the guy that we is it Joey? It's across from the museum.
Johnny.
Johnny's got that little stand there. He's got all kinds of food. He's not really that expensive for his food and stuff. And it's pretty good. We've ate there. He's got all kinds of stuff he sells.
Palmetto, we just saw a stunt show, and we were thinking of you. You should come out here and
They gave $2,500 away for first prize.
how about that? So
He also did it in Vegas too.
Daniel says his first bike was a '69 amp chopper. Chicago thick style pizza sucks. No fattening, too fattening, all bread. Yeah, but if you've ever eaten one, it's like delicious. Yeah, when we went up there one time, I was with my school, and they was like, gotta eat this place. So they took us all, and it comes out in this bowl, and then they like scoop it out. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it is mostly crust, but it's good, and that's supposed to be the true Chicago style pizza, deep dish. And then I guess that's what somebody else was saying, that I guess Ralph says the New York thin pizza. You fold it. Yeah, I know, because the pizzas, it's like a whole pizza in itself, a slice of pizza, New York pizza. It's gigantic, and then you're supposed to roll it or fold it or something and eat it. I don't know. I never did figure that out. Chicago thick pizza. Oh, okay. His first bite. So Daniel's on to it. And I see Joseph Smith on. He says, Viva Las Vegas. That was our dog's name. Her name was Viva Las Vegas. That was Charlie's mom. So she's gone. But Charlie's still doing good. Our daughter still has him. She'll probably have him through.
Sturgis next year.
I told her. I
We're
told
not
her we'd
taking
probably,
him to Daytona this year.
No. Well, I told her we'd pick him up but I don't know if that would confuse him too. Pick him up at Thanksgiving and bring him back.
things around.
Why?
And break my glasses and hit me with them.
So anyway, Mindy has Charlie. Charlie's the most popular travel dog. You think?
Better than Hemsworth's, all his little friends he has.
Busted Nux. I was just there last night. There you go.
But I don't know. And I'll grant you, there's always places that are expensive. It's just like places that are selling $9 a gallon gas. You know, if you got a gas station, you pull up to it and it's $9.99 for gas, and you still got gas in your car. You're gonna buy it? Or you're gonna move on and see if you can find something at a better price. I'd move along. But I mean,
Well, just like when we were here last 2 weekends ago, and we got that frozen daiquiri, whatever it was. And we should have
21
asked,
bucks.
before. We got the smallest one, but still 25 bucks for a little cup. And it's like, should have
But we
asked.
didn't ask. But I mean, it was high. But it's like, okay. And then.
But that was probably the only place in
and then we
Vegas
went
that
over-
has the banana ones.
Then when we went downtown last night, it was $15 for one about this little bit bigger or about the same size. So yeah, there you can price around. But if you paid that, if you were at the, if you went to, because they also said that One Eye Jack's was kind of expensive too. Same thing for you're buying beer. If you're paying $10 for a beer, that's your fault. You know, there's other places that are a lot cheaper. Uncle Louie's is $3 for beer, and you go down to the Vets Club, and it's cheaper there. And out there at if you're camping out at Buffalo Chip, they've got dollar beer throughout different times of the day. So there's places you can get a better deal, but it's like I guess people are there and they're like, well, I'm hungry. Well, you're at the Full Throttle. It's the same vendor that has all the stands, so it doesn't make any difference who you're buying it from. So you're not doing any favors to yourself, or you're going to find a better deal there. Well, if I knew that, there's nothing going on at the Full Throttle in the first place that's going to make me stay there and skip a meal or eat their food because that's my choice. I only had that. So if I've already gone out to the Full Throttle and I checked out their prices, and well, it's kind of like that. We quit. We didn't eat there last year either. Since they've changed the vendors around, I guess we did eat something there last year. I don't remember what we got
Full
there.
Throttle?
Yeah, remember that time when we watched the concerts and stuff with whoever we were with?
Tony and Judy.
That there was that one booth that was, when you turned around, it was on the left side where they built
No.
the burned up stuff. We went over there and got something.
I think it was barbecue.
And I don't remember how much it was, but it was, but I'm not, just like that. Do we get a barbecue sandwich at a truck like that? $20 isn't really unreasonable. I mean, it's just like that. Do any of you eat at food trucks that come around? And are they like McDonald's prices?
Because they're specialty trucks. So they get specialty prices.
So it's like, I don't know what people think. I don't know. I see that seems to be the biggest thing that people, oh, you need to call the city of Sturgis. They need to tell those vendors they can't do this, you can't do that.
Price gouging.
And it's like, you're stupid moron. You need to not patronize them. If you don't buy their product and nobody else buys their stuff, they'll be gone next year. You won't have to worry about those people. But if you go up there and you spend your $30 or $40 for your freaking hot dog and your soda, then you're just telling them, hey, we got a bunch of stupid people coming to Sturgis. Let's come back next year. Let's charge them $50 for that hot dog and soda because they're so stupid they'll pay it anyway. You probably would. If you're that guy that spent that money, you'll pay $50 for that hot dog next year. Why not? My diabetic buddy had to have a hot dog. I don't know.
Are you done?
No? Because I want to do a video on that.
Oh,
That's
Pomoto
just-
says, thanks for thinking of me. I'm at the beach videoing when the SUV got stuck. Oh. Did we talk about you when the SUV got stuck? Did we
No.
say something about Pomoto?
I don't think so. We talked about Florida and stuff, but I don't think we said anything about him.
I don't know. Yeah, that was a crazy. I really didn't think we were going to get off the beach.
We'd still be there doing lives from the beach.
I don't know. We were very.
Well, they would have
lucky.
came looking for us because there was a tracker on the car.
It would show it floating away in the ocean. I miss those $1 shrimp cocktails in a glass of ketchup. Yes, they used to have those down here.
They still have
That's
them
what-
down there. They still have them down there. That sign's still up there. It says 99-cent
Shrimp cocktail?
Probably only have one in the bowl, but the sign's still up
I don't know.
downtown on Fremont Street. I seen it.
Classic songs by Elvis. ZZ Top did a great cover too. They were talking about Viva Las Vegas because that was our doggy's name. Bob, preach your brother, speak the truth. Chicago hot dogs are the best. No, have you ever had a hot dog in New Orleans?
From the Lucky Stand.
Lucky Dog.
But she's never had those hot dogs that are in Chicago from, what's that place called? We went there when I went for a convention up there. She didn't go, and we took the subway down to this place that was well known for hot dogs. I can't think of the name of the place. They were pretty good hot dogs.
I like Lucky Dogs.
Yeah, we like Lucky Dogs.
We don't like the ones up in LA, the Pink's hot dog, the ones that crunch when you
Yeah, they
chew
got the
on them.
hard skin on them. But see, most of those hot dogs, we like a hot dog. She puts relish and mustard on it. I just put ketchup on mine. To where a lot of those hot dogs, they put all that junk on it. You know, you can't even see the hot dog when
That's
you
what
get done with
happened. We went to Pink's the first time because everybody said you gotta have a hot dog from Pink's. So we drove up there, got a hot dog, and they're like,
Stood
what
in
do you
line.
want on it? And I'm like, no, just a hot dog. No, you got relish or sauerkraut or what do you want on it? I just want mustard and relish. You came all the way up here to get a Pink's hot dog and you're just gonna eat a hot dog? It's like, I like my hot dogs fried. I don't like them boiled.
it. Or on a roller. Rolling.
Rolling weenies.
At the 7-Eleven, that's her favorite.
No, it's not. Chicago hot dogs are the best. New Orleans, on my list of places to go. Haven't been there yet, Joe. Joseph says that, Joseph Smith. If you go down there, try a Lucky Dog. They're just little carts. You can't buy them. It's not a restaurant. They just have little hot dog carts, and they're called Lucky Dogs. We had a Lucky Dog, too, one time. That was another dog's name. Nathan's Hot Dogs. Rule. Jaws, Joey Chestnut, 8 and 75 in 10 minutes. Greatest athlete ever. My hero, Jaws, Joe Chestnut. I guess he must be a hot dog eating guy. New Orleans has the most dangerous place in the country. Is the most dangerous place.
St. Louis and
I was
Chicago
gonna
is.
say.
What's bad about New Orleans is cars have the right of way. So a lot of the deaths that happen are morons that step out onto the road when you don't have a walk sign and they get hit by a car. It's not the car's fault. You have to obey. Cars have a right of way when the light is green. So if some bum steps out off the curb and gets picked off,
Or some drunk.
that's life. And so that's a
Oh,
death.
Art's on.
Who's on?
Art. What's all this about hot dogs? You're missing it, Art.
He never went to New Orleans with us, so he don't know what New Orleans
No, he hasn't never had a Lucky Dog. Ralph says the Coney Islands on 4th of July. My mom used to always make Coney Islands. I do like those. Vienna beef hot dogs. I like, it's called Bright Leaf hot dogs. It's an NC thing. North Carolina, I guess. Or Northern California. I don't know. Joe Casey, where are you from? Is it North Carolina? I don't know. I've never heard of that. Bright Leaf hot dogs. I don't know.
I got all these packages that they're selling like jerky and stuff. It's not really jerky. It's not meat. It's plant food, I guess. I seen it advertised a lot on the internet. And then with that gas station we stopped at the whatever that is, the first casino we
Yeah.
stopped at, gas station, it was in there.
I don't know. Well, they got a new thing out here too. It's called TAT, T-A-A-T, and it's supposed to be cigarettes, like in a cigarette pouch, like a regular cigarette, but it has no tar, no nicotine, and you smoke them like a regular cigarette and instead of
Did you see that
vaping.
ad?
It's been advertised on the radio all
Sometimes
over.
she dreams stuff.
Not.
You don't dream up things?
Jimmy Hartwell's on. How are you doing? North Carolina, Joe Casey says. Baja Image eating 75 hot dogs at $26 each. Yeah. That would be a bit pricey, wouldn't it?
I think if you join the hot dog contest, I think they give the hot dogs for free.
Why are you talking about I like Wiener Schnitzel?
We used to eat a Wiener Schnitzel
Yeah, we
in
did.
California.
Yeah, we ate the one in Bullhead a lot too. We used to go on Fridays because they'd have $1 root beer floats.
And they stopped them and I quit going.
You won't go back. Momoto says, anyone going to Biketoberfest? We were just talking about that.
We were
You
wondering
think they're
if-
really going to
if-
have it?
If with all the devastation in Florida, do you think they might cancel it? We were discussing that. So you're actually a Floridian. So you're apparently still going to go no matter what. So my question is too, is if you're staying along the beach, there may not be much beach left that you can use. Does that affect you? And if you're staying in a campground, like we were talking about Cackleberry, back there on the back 40, when it rains, it turns
It's a
muddy.
swamp.
Well, if they got 8 to 10 inches of rain this week, it ain't gonna dry up in 2 weeks. That's still gonna be a mud hole back there. So make some comments about it. That's why I don't, if I was going, I wouldn't go. I would change my mind now, just with all the stuff that happened in Florida in 2 weeks. There's not gonna be a lot. I don't know. I even worry about next year. You know, it's not that far away from spring.
Well, I don't know,
And there's still
did
going to
they
be a
ever
lot
say
of.
how hard Daytona got hit?
Not really, but I mean, St. Augustine said they got a lot of rain in St. Augustine. That's
Yeah.
50 miles away. So,
It's been
but I
so-
know the beaches all got damage. That's pretty much all the way up and down the coast. The beaches got erosion and all that. And depends on how, I think it a lot depending on how, like in Panama, not Panama City, but in Myrtle Beach, like where the state park is where we're at. I know it's underwater.
Kamoto said they'd do a video and keep us all posted, so I guess he's still gonna go.
And so where are
Dr.
you staying
Dogs.
at? Where do you stay at when you go out there? Or this year, where you're staying at for the fall? Is it on the beach?
He didn't say yet. Joseph Smith said, this Hispanic guy that he used to work with turned him on to tortilla dogs. It's a corn tortilla, melted cheese, and a hot dog rolled up in it with jalapenos on the side.
Jalapenos?
What a dick. Friend's house he's staying at.
So that makes a
Daryl
difference.
has
You're not
that.
spending the money to get there or to stay.
Daryl
I
has-
just don't know.
So they
I
had
just don't
canceled
know.
it before because of hurricanes and storms.
Yeah, but they never. They haven't. This is. They're saying on the news this is the biggest thing for 60 years.
100.
Well, no, that was Tampa. But for all of
No.
Florida in general, they haven't had anything like this for over 60 years. So Daytona Bike Week hasn't been around for 60 years. So this is the 30th year. I think for the spring is the 30th year. Is it this one the 30th? I don't know. So I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't know.
Please.
It's kind of like going back down to New Orleans after
Katrina.
after they had all that happened and stuff, and it's because Daytona may not be quite as bad just because it maybe it didn't get hit as hard as other areas did, but there's going to be the resources that's going on in Florida is going to be affected. They're still saying there's a lot of places don't even have gasoline yet. They can't even get it in. So even maybe where you're at, are they having any trouble getting gas down to where you're at? Because you're pretty far
Kamoto-
south,
Yeah, he's in Miami.
Fort Lauderdale area.
Kamoto said there's 2 other possible storms out there. I'm riding out, so he's riding his bike out. Joseph says his mom lives in Punta Gorda, and she stayed. Luckily, she's okay. Didn't get any surge by her. Devastation is 20 miles away.
Because her friend that's in Port Charlotte still can't get home. Her house is surrounded, all the roads
She
are
lives in
washed.
Northport.
And
They said it's
she's
knee-deep.
pretty far off the coast.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of creeks and stuff around there and stuff, and they're all flooded over the road. So her boyfriend's stuck at the house, and she's stuck at her son's house.
Because that's what she said, that there's a boat there that will take her to her house, but then her car got damaged, so all the windows are blown out from the hurricane, and she doesn't want to leave her car 2 miles away somewhere on the side of the road and have it just so she can go home. And I said, have Ryan take you down there, drop you off, then pick you up in the boat, and then take you. I don't know.
But it could be the house may not have electric either. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Ryan doesn't have electric either. So, yeah, it's a mess if you're right down there in it. Because Port
it's like-
Charlotte's just north of Fort Myers. And then Punta Gorda, I can never say that, is in between Fort Myers and Port Charlotte. So, it's a mess down there. So, Ray's Moto Life says, yeah, I lived in Panama City when Katrina had hit bad. Yeah, there's still devastation down there. And I don't know if it's from Katrina or the other
I don't
one.
know, but it's a shame when you drive through those towns and you still see tarps on the roof, and they blame it on there's not enough people to put roofs on, and they can't get the supplies. But they're still building homes, so I don't know. I don't get any of that.
So I'm glad to hear that, Joseph. He said his mom just got power back on today. So hopefully my girlfriend and her son, they all get electric soon. No, I wouldn't leave my car either, yeah. Well, I think she would if she was able to lock it, but since all the windows are blown out, well, the back window for sure is blown out. And she said the roof is dented, or the hood, whatever.
fell on it.
What's the top of the,
Hood,
not the hood,
roof,
yes.
the roof, the roof.
The roof's on fire. That's your... Art says, I think if the rally helps support the recovery out of the local community and that you have the time and the funds to support them, have fun, and make the best of it.
See, I would say that too. That's what she said. But I say that money would stay in Daytona. It's their tax money, it's their revenue, it's all that kind of stuff. It's not really going to help the issue that goes on. I said if you really wanted to go down to Florida, go down and volunteer and help. There's going to be, it's just going to be, there's never enough help. And I don't know. I don't know. I've worked with disasters with fires and stuff in California, but I've never done anything with floods, so I don't really know much about that. But it's just that dealing with the fires and stuff, I just know how I don't know.
Devastating.
It would be, I don't know. If I was a Floridian and I was one of those people, let's say I was in Fort Myers, I was in any of those areas that had one of the campgrounds that we stay at, they can't even get in because there's a tree across the road to get into the place. So they don't even know how bad the property even is. We may not even be able to stay there next year
I bet not.
when we go back. So that's the same thing we have now. You don't know what's going on. And what's bad about, just like Daytona, there was some people that showed up in Daytona last year, thought they had reservations, and the hotel closed up.
Yeah.
So crap like that happens, and
Well, we were in Orlando one time. It was the first year we were out there or not?
well, they closed the hotel up.
Out of the blue.
Well, it wasn't really Orlando. It was right there in Kissimmee.
Yeah.
And this hotel, they closed it up, and they told people that you got till tomorrow to get out. We're locking the doors.
And then people had reservations that were coming in. They're like, well, what do we do? I mean, they flew in. They had reservations to stay at this place. It wasn't called Leisure World. It was something World, Resort World or something. It was right on that 192. And they were like, sorry, they just locked them up. I don't know if it's the IRS came
Happened in
in.
Daytona too, in Deadwood. A couple years ago, there was a hotel that was remodeling, and
That didn't get done in time for
and
Sturgis.
people had already paid ahead for them, and they couldn't get a hold of nobody. And I told them to call the Chamber of Commerce and all that kind of stuff, try to find out what's going on. I don't know whatever happened. Those people ever got their money back or not. I don't know if that's that hotel that was in Hill City. In that Hill City, the next town? No,
Lead.
Lee. There's that hotel that sits up on the hill. I don't know if that's the one it was. Or if it was that hotel when you first were coming down the hill into Deadwood. It had closed up for a while, so I don't know. But it always scares me when you go someplace like that and you assume you have a reservation. And
You
get
would
in,
have
there's
seen
not.
how scared he was when we booked. He's a friend of ours now. At that house we stayed in that one year.
Renting a
He-
house.
He was like calling. He was checking. He was. Oh my
Googling
God.
them?
He was still to the time we drove up to the house. He was
Knocked on the
afraid he
door.
was going to knock on the door and say, "You can't stay here. Who the
Who are
heck are
you?"
you?" So, but it all worked out. So, but you
a
never
lot of times
know.
it don't. And so that's always the gamble that you take, especially when something like this has happened. You've had a disaster, and you assume. Let's say I got a hotel that's in Daytona, and it's right on the beach. You call them, they're like, no, we have no damage whatsoever. Everything is just hunky dory. Well, next thing you know, next week, so fire department finally starts coming through because it's going to take them a while to go through all those buildings and check them all out and see what kind of. And all of a sudden they go, sorry, you got a crack here in the side of your wall. You're closed down. Everybody out. Now what are you gonna do? Then you got to ship out getting your money back. Hey, I've already paid my $2,000 to stay in the stupid hotel for the week of. This is only 4 days, so it's not the end of the world. But I know nobody's going to cancel it because just like Destination Daytona, they're not giving the money back to people, the vendors. They're just not going to do it. They got the hotel already booked. You know, that's the two times a year that they sell their hotel out. Are they going to refund the money? Nope. You're coming. It's kind of like what Buffalo Chip and all them said during the pandemic. If they close the state down, we're open. Come on in. We're private property. We can do any damn thing we want. Well, you make that choice. And, you know, it is what it is. And, no, we'll get canceled. I would say probably not. Will a lot of people not come? I think there'll probably be people that can get out of their reservations. Probably will. I think people like me, if I was going to ride my bike right now all the way to Daytona, I don't know if I'd go. I know you always have this chance something can happen. But if you look, it's like we've gone the last 2 years. We've gone to the fall rallies. Never had any real trouble. Springs, it's like I said, even in the spring, you could still have a hurricane during that time, during Daytona's Bike Week. And we've had a lot of rain last year, but no hurricane. But we did have some tornado warnings, different places we've been in Florida.
Yeah.
And,
I think that first year we were there.
And we worry about that too. And I know that's a chance when you're traveling anywhere. and that you take, but when you see a disaster happen like this, it just brings it more to light. That hey, wow, like
Things happen.
her friend, and she's been living down there for 25 years and have never had anything like this. She's been all along that western coast of,
The Gulf Coast,
Florida,
Florida.
and up and down it, and stayed different places. And she says usually when there's a hurricane, we go to bed and wake up in the morning and it's over. No big deal. Maybe they had a few leaves in the yard to pick up, but that's all they had. But they're never on the water, but they're close enough, within.
But when they lived in Venice for a while, and they were pretty
Yeah, they're
close
pretty
to the
close
water
there.
there.
A couple miles.
So Joseph said he told his mom next time, get that out of there.
Which it would be. I would, something like that, especially when that one was predicted so hard and it was going to hit that hard, then yeah, I would have, even people we know that live in Jacksonville, I would have even left then. Myrtle Beach, I'd have been gone way too. We talked to the ferry exchange and they pulled out on Wednesday. I would have left before that probably. Once I heard them saying it's going to be ruined anyway. Now, if I wasn't in the trailer and I didn't ride my motorcycle, let's say I flew in and we had a rental bike, I might sit through it. Be a good video. But to know that
Just
I rode
like
my
the
motorcycle,
tsunami.
knowing that I'm riding my motorcycle there, and if it gets really bad, and none of those garages allow you to park motorcycles in them. So you can't get it up off the ground if you want to, So if you're parking it out in the front and your bike gets,
Washed away.
I just, I don't know.
So Palmoto says he works in roofing and hurricane windows. He says looks like it's going to be a busy 23, 24 year. Daryl agrees with Art. Joe Casey says, what's your favorite game in Vegas? I love blackjack and roulette. We don't gamble really.
Don't really gamble. I normally, when I
21.
did sit down, I
Always
played blackjack. Is what I play. And now what we normally do is we play some of them goofy machines that have all these bonus things and stuff on it. I won $80 the last time we played, like last year. This year we haven't put any money in the machine yet. Thought maybe we'd do that. We might see tomorrow. I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow yet. Sunday's a kind of a Sunday fun day.
I was like, I got
You're
burnt
red.
again, I guess.
She wears a mask
Joe-
over here, but she's got her eyes out.
Yeah, but I've been pulling that thing down too, because I've got my helmet's got one of those things that come down anyway.
Windshield,
Yeah.
sunglasses thing.
Yeah. So Joe Casey says he loves the rodeo in Vegas in October. They're having some sort of equestrian thing over
This
at
weekend at the-
yeah, must be for the kids, because there was tons of kids over there at South Point. Joseph Schmidt says planning on going to Tampa RV show in January. Wondering if that will still be on this year.
I would think so. Well, it depends depends on the RVs where they're coming from.
They're coming from down south.
Well, a lot of
Florida.
that would be you're probably going to be seeing the new models, and probably are the 223s out yet? They should be. We're in
It's after
October,
August, yeah.
so. But I mean, it didn't affect Indiana where they're building all the RVs at. So I would say probably Tampa. I would say probably, but I would think by the time we come around to the first of the year, things will. I think Florida, which is what they said today on the news when we watch, Florida's been predicting this for a long time. They've been putting things together. They put resources together. They were ready for this. And you're probably going to see a very quick turnaround. Not like what New Orleans had and some of this. One, you got a governor that really wants to get stuff back in order. Someday he might want to run for president. Could be even this term. Who knows what his thinking is. But he definitely wants to show what he can do. They got old Biden to mark it as a natural disaster, which of course anybody would have
Yes.
to. You'd have to be a moron not to mark it down just because the guy doesn't agree with you politically. You're still the president of the United States, and he's the governor. He needs to take care of it. No matter if you're liberal or you're conservative, you're still a Floridian, and you need to be taken care of and build back. So I don't know what their plan is, but they said on the news today they've been planning for 20 or 25 years. They've been planning this exact thing to happen. So we'll have to see the next 30, 60 days, we'll see how this all comes together. It's kind of like the power companies. They were already sitting out.
They were there waiting.
Yeah, they
They
showed
had
them.
50,000 trucks there waiting.
No, it wasn't 50,000
That's
trucks.
what they said. Yes,
It
they
wasn't
did.
50 it wasn't 50,000 trucks.
You go back and watch the
I don't think there's
newscast.
even probably in all the utility companies, there's 50,000 utility trucks.
That's what they said. Maybe
They
it was
showed 'em.
50,000 electricians. Whatever. So Palmetto said hurricane
I
season
think you
ends
can
in
get
November.
1,000 trucks.
He said, be safe and visit Florida. So come on down. Baja said some of those lose a few $100s on their reservations, but some people that live in Florida lost their homes and all their possessions. That's
Which is
true.
true. Which is true. That's why I'm saying it's almost better
That's
to
why I
turn the
said-
rally around and make it something to help the people that are down there. Instead of going down there and partying and having a good time, then
Go down
hey,
there to help.
everybody go down to Daytona, and from Daytona we'll all go down to Fort Myers, or we'll go to all these different areas, even anywhere, even at St. Augustine's if they've had issues. Let's go down there and let's help clean up the beach, or let's help them, get rid of the debris, or whatever you can do. That would be really neat, and we've done that. We've helped out. We've done, not to really say it was that type of thing, but I mean, I went and volunteered my time with Adam Sandoval when he was trying to get his campground going the first time for the rally and stuff. I went down there and worked for free for a week and did wiring and all that kind of stuff.
Helped out.
And it's there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a good time either. But I just
Help out the people that were hurt the most.
yeah. I just think
Because it was
sometimes
devastating.
it's kind of like making a joke right now about the hurricane.
Yeah.
It's a little too soon for the tonight shows and the late night shows to start making snide remarks or jokes about people's loss, because there's probably people that have died that they haven't even found them yet.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be maybe a week or more before all the rubble and stuff is cleaned up, and so it's just, that's what I'm saying. Daytona's only a couple weeks away, less than 2 weeks away before it starts, and there's so much about Florida right now we don't know about yet. And like I said, we're not there, so
We
I
could
don't
call
know.
Shelley and see how they did, how the dealership is, and
But see, I'm not saying just necessarily that. It could be like the dealership. Dealership could have done just fine. So could Merle's Inlet or Ormond Beach and all that could have turned out all right. We're not, but they already said that the what's the bar down there on the water that we always wanted to go eat at and we didn't. You said it got all damaged.
Flaggers Beach.
Yeah, Flaggers Beach is pretty much gone. And
Well, that main drag was nothing but, it looked like a river.
yeah. So that was a big bar that everybody went to. You ain't going to that bar this year. I ain't going in the spring either. So there's people that did damage. I'll go up farther into Daytona. You don't know. You don't know.
They're not
Like
really
the place
saying much about it.
the place we had the meet and greet at. What was that place called?
Krabby's.
Krabby's. Can you still sit outside now and eat? How many places? I don't know if Daytona had any trouble with power or not. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. That's what I say. I'm not there to be a spokesperson for that. I'm just saying that from our viewpoint, we're not there. So by us coming to your state, yes, the state definitely probably could use money, but they could use the money you sending it and you send it to the Red Cross. And I almost did that, and I haven't done it yet. I watched wrestling and I came on for a few minutes, and they had a thing that it was a text thing. It was $5.99. I don't remember what the number was, but it was a way you could donate $10 through your phone. It would charge you. I guess it came on your phone, and it went to the Red Cross. I would rather send my $1,500 that I need to go to Daytona. I'd rather send the $1,500 to the Red Cross to help with what's going on down there. That's just me. That's not anybody else.
Because they had a station set up, we saw on the news this morning, that you could come and get water and food for those that didn't have anything because they lost everything and they ran out.
And close it up. So here's all these poor people that don't have any drinking water, and they don't have
Any
any
food.
way to get food. And now
And
the
then the gas,
stand
there's no
where they
gas down
said
there.
the Red Cross was there for free food and said, sorry, we're out. We have to wait for the next shipment to come back another day. And
So
it's-
Joe said in Myrtle Beach it was sunny and fine today. As
Which I did. I
Steven
heard today,
said.
Steven said it was a beautiful day today.
Art wants to know if we got to see Marie, not this trip. She had something going on, I think, this weekend, so
Maybe,
we.
I don't know if
yeah.
you told her we were coming up.
No, but anyway, Joe says, sit in the bar, play poker machine, drink. It used to be free, not anymore. They'll come around sporadically. You can get a
Well,
free
the idea is
drink.
once the girl comes around, you got to give her a pretty decent tip. You give her a
For her to
$5 or
come back.
$10 tip, she'll be back right around. If you give her a buck, everybody's giving her a buck. So which is like everybody else. It's like this place. What, they got one person in here working, two people?
No, there's 3 or 4, but
They ain't doing
one
nothing.
little girl was on her phone. She was like going crazy, and then she turned
Or
around.
Dairy Queen.
I didn't see. I didn't hear the door open. I said, we're already in here. Oh, I didn't know that. So anyway, Gene's on. He says it'll all come together. That's what we here do in the United States. For the most part, yes, that's true.
Normally America always snaps back. There is exceptions to the rule. Louisiana is still a mess. From a hurricane they had in 2007, it's still people haven't recuperated from it yet. Panama City, if you actually get into the real Panama City, not on the beach
Not
side,
Panama City Beach.
there's
Panama
still
City.
people that have tarps on the roof. Like 75% of the people still have tarps on the roofs. They're still building. The mall's still half condemned. It's just sad but Panama City Beach, of course, they fixed it up right away because that's where the money comes in. Daytona will be fixed up probably before they'll even think. Fort Myers is a lost cause. We'll write that off for now. We'll go fix Daytona up because we want money coming into the beach community. You know, Disneyland, if anything happened to them, well, they'll definitely get that all back up to shape for them because that's what they want. And they're the big money.
Tourist.
Daytona doesn't want you there anyway. Not us, motorcycle people, they don't.
Pamoto says, much love for Miami and the first responders sending all out to Southwest Florida. That's right.
Which is great. And it's the municipalities like that share their resources within a state or even nearby states come in, you know, hands off just like us. When I worked in California, I worked the fires that were up in San Francisco and stuff that they had. In the wine country, I worked those. I went up there for, I don't know, it was a little more than a week. And it's part of your job. Well, you get good money for doing it. The company pays you good money. FEMA pays us. And but you work, I don't know, 15, 16 hours a day and sleep 9, 8.
Yep. So the whole time you're up there, you're working unless you're sleeping. Joe Casey says he should be in Myrtle Beach right now. It's the first rally he's missed since 1985.
Well, you should be there
He
too.
still has the shovelhead that he rode to Daytona and Myrtle. So
There you
how
go.
about that? Pamoto says that's why I love this channel. It's always giving back leaders. Baja said one should choose very carefully where to live. Yep. That's why we think, after being all around the United States, where we think it gets hot in Bullhead City and we have wind, but considering all the natural disasters, we really
We
don't
don't
have
really
any.
have fires. We don't have tornadoes. We don't have hurricanes.
Earthquakes.
We don't have hail.
Earthquakes.
We don't have earthquakes. So other than some heat, but if the humidity
windy
stays
weather.
down low. But I mean, we do get 50, 60 mile an hour winds out here. So it's kind of funny to us when they talk about Florida, they were talking about the Myrtle Beach and all this. They were 50 mile an hour winds, 60 mile an hour winds. Well, we just had
Microburst.
the last live we did on our last Sunday. It was 181 mile wind we had come through the snap telephone poles off. Power poles. They don't talk much about it. We went almost 2 weeks without power before everybody. We didn't, but some of the people around us went 2 weeks. We didn't get a
Our power
natural
was only
disaster,
off 4 hours. We were one of the lucky ones, kind of like some of the people.
which is
down
kind of
in
odd because we're kind of in not the most important. We're not in the Ritchie area that there's a loop that goes around. That they were kind of the slowest ones to get their power on, which is shocking.
But when we went along the freeway, it snapped almost every one of those telephone or electric poles
And
down.
they won't say the actual wind because they don't want to scare people because of that speed. But the telephone company, the phone company, or the power company says our poles are made to withstand over 150 mile an hour winds. We predicted it was around 180.
For them to just snap off.
Yeah.
And they
Snap off like
snapped at the
twigs.
base.
Well, some of them
Yeah.
snapped a couple feet off the ground. None of them snapped off flush. Most of them were snapped more closer to the ground than higher in the ground.
All right.
And there'd be one or two poles would be fine. Well, if you looked, you could kind of see we're kind of flat. We're in the desert, so it's flat to where you could see wherever the flat area was. That wind was coming straight across
Whipping.
and got it and snapped them off. And it'd take 5 or 6 of them out at a time. And then there might be a little bit of a hill, and those two would still be standing. So some people would say, "Oh, the wire's pulling down." No, it wasn't. Because some places you go, there's just one pole down. And other places
And
you go,
some
there's a
of the
dozen.
pole was just hanging there. So
Yeah.
the electric, the wires were still there. So Joseph Smith said Florida is a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. That's what we always say, but not really because of the weather. Well, that is one reason. The bugs, the humidity, the heat. Yeah, we don't
I'm
like
not,
any
we've
of that.
lived in the Midwest where we had tornadoes. We had 3 tornadoes go down within a block of our house. And same thing. California, we were there during the fires and we had to evacuate twice. First time we were on a warning, the next 2 we had to leave. After that, I said, we're out of there. We moved to an area that was no trees. And so, yeah.
We still got
it's-
real close to a
So
fire
we've
there,
dealt
yeah.
with that. I've never been in a hurricane. I have no interest of being in one. I would have left. If I was in Florida and they were predicting that hurricane. As soon as I seen it made that curve, like on the Sunday before when they were predicting it was going to hit what, Wednesday, I'd have been on Sunday. I'd have packed up and I'd already been heading halfway. I'd be home already by then.
Well, my
I'd be way
cousin
far away.
was sitting on Sanibel Island 2 days before it hit, and he got out, and it was just like, man. I wrote him this morning. I said, I'm glad
his
you got out of
vacation.
there. And he says, yeah. He said, I'm glad. He says, I'm glad I went, but I'm glad I got out too. So, hoping to go full-time RVing someday. Plan on summers mostly in South Dakota, Wyoming, MY. I guess that's Montana. Probably winter in Arizona. So that's Joseph Smith. Joe Casey said he always stays at the Adams Mark in Daytona. Ralph said you get a massive dust devils. Not really, not
We
Bullhead.
don't. Well, when we're at, we don't get the dust storms that come through. Phoenix and all that get that stuff over there, but we don't get them over where we're at. Well, this is the first time I seen one. With this wind that came up, we were sitting there. If you watched the live on that Sunday, we were sitting at Chili's. And we looked out the window and you couldn't see out the window. I'm like, what the heck is going on? They're like, oh, it's dust. I'm like, I've never, since we've been out there, we've never seen that.
Nothing like that.
And not saying it never is any. We do have. You don't leave your windows open during the winter, because we don't really leave our windows really open at all. If you open, we have a slider in the back patio. If we open that up, it's early in the morning. Winds are calmer. There's not much going on. You can open it up
And it's in an alcove too. So the house comes out. So if it does wind, unless the wind's going north and south,
But yes, our cars get there. Like we leave the windows cracked when we're gone. I have got 2 cars sitting outside now, and the windows are cracked. And if I leave it open, the riverside, which would be, I guess, heading from the west, her seat will be all covered in dust when she gets in it.
and then you put your arm down, it's like all gritty and stuff.
Like that, or you have your window blow out. And we never had that happen here.
No. Okay, so Joe says, hey Bob, you have the garage, that's cool. Yep.
Not done yet. We're still
No.
working on it. Don't have nothing. Well, the truck's in there and the boat's in there. The big
So,
truck.
Art says, yeah, I rode my Harley to Arizona one of those windiest days of the year. Was that when he came out that last time? It was pretty windy. Montana, okay, that's what I figured you meant, Joseph. Palmoto says, Florida residents need to head to heed the evacuation warnings, yeah.
But people are, because they're always warning you. So it's kind of like the Timmy in the well. You know, Timmy's in the well, Timmy's in the well. And they run down there and there ain't nobody in the well. Timmy's in the well, Timmy's in the well. And they go down there and he ain't there. Next time they go, Timmy's in the well. No, he ain't. We ain't going out there. And there's Timmy in the well. Well, the same thing happens with this. They tell you all the time, hurricanes, hurricanes. If you left every time they told you there was a hurricane, you'd never be in Florida. And look at all the money you'd be spending because you'd have to get out, find a place to stay. But if you've got relatives that are up in Mississippi or, because heck, that's what I said, you can't really even go anywhere along the East Coast. And it could even zip around and go through, New Orleans and Mississippi and go up that way. So, you're almost like you might have to go to Texas, and
Way to
stay.
Texas can get it.
And so, yeah, that's what.
Or further in, like Tennessee or something like
Well,
that.
even Tennessee can get the bad storms and stuff afterwards, tornadoes and stuff. So it's like, I never thought Florida got tornadoes. I thought it was just hurricanes. And then when we were down there last year and there was tornado warnings, we're like, what do you got tornadoes? I thought you only had hurricanes. And they're like, no, we have both. And I'm like, holy crap, that is really bad.
Why do you live there? Joe Casey said he lived through Fran hurricane in North Carolina. Yeah, I know. Dust Bowl, Ralph says Dust Bowl's named. Do they name their dust devils out there? No. Single wide trailer, no sleep that night. I bet not. Rep Pink's on. Hey there, how you doing? He says, Pating, hello peeps. How you doing? Has the waters receded yet any in your area up there in
So what do you
St.
hear
Augustine's?
about? What do you hear about Daytona? about their beaches and hotels that any of them get any damage. We heard Flagler Beach was pretty much destroyed there. The bar and all that along there got a lot of water damage. It'd probably be closed for a while. So what have you heard about Daytona?
Wrapping, since you're right there, just not too far away.
Yeah. Well, you probably seen it on his local news more
Yeah.
than what we would see.
Yeah, because we really haven't heard
Because she got a
anything.
picture the other day that it showed the raceway underwater. Well, she sent it to Amsoil Adam, and he wrote back and said that's been going around for 7 years, that picture. And it's, people do that all the time. You don't know when you're, which it is, just like YouTube. You look at this stuff and you don't know, when people tell you stuff, you don't know if it's true or if it's not. And you have to make that call. And that's one of the things I was talking about, doing something with, I have a giveaway for you guys to give us ideas of things, products you've gotten that you've liked, that maybe will buy the product and we'll look into it and we'll do a video on it. We'll do a tech. We're thinking about doing once the garage is built. I don't want to turn in like some of these guys out here that are selling products on every freaking video. I don't want to be that guy, but I'd like to be a guy that shows you neat stuff that you might have recommended to us, or something you bought, or something I bought that we're going to talk about the biker bar again. I'm going to do another video on that here real soon.
He found the piece that broke, and he wanted to talk more about their customer service, because
Yeah,
it was
and
excellent.
just what I liked about it, what I don't like about it, things like that, and it's a great product. I like it, and I think more people should talk about, which is sad because it's all about money. You know, this whole world is about money. Just like having Daytona, they're not going to camp. Daytona could have been half destroyed, and they would still have Bike Week because they want the
Oktoberfest.
money, and. I don't know. It's just sad. And just like Myrtle Beach, here they are today. They had the rally, kept going. Let's start it back up again.
Even though they canceled it yesterday, totally canceled for the weekend. It's too bad. We're not going to have it. I'm so sorry. But, safety first. And then today they're on there saying, we're here for the rally. It's all back on.
We got
Come
a few
on
vendors
down.
still here. We're still doing this, selling bikes. I don't know if anybody died in Myrtle Beach or not, but I mean, there's still a lot of.
I
be a
wiped
lot
out
of
their
cleanup.
pier.
Yeah, most of the piers, I think they all got damaged.
Yeah, all on
So,
the East Coast.
and I imagine, see, I think they sit a lot lower. Just like we were saying, Stephen always said that the campground that we stay at the state park, it floods a lot. Well, hopefully by the time we get back, it'll be gone. That's where we stay in
The
Myrtle.
waters will recede.
Yeah, and because he says it brings the snakes out and all that. They even said in Fort Myers, way inland, there's an alligator swimming down the road.
Street.
And so now you got that if you're out there walking in the water. And
Well, they said,
we've had flooding because we always had the Mississippi River, the Merrimack
Merrimack
River,
River.
the Cascade River
They all
around us.
flood
They always flood.
in the spring.
We lost a whole town down there. They moved it up the hill. What was the name of that town?
Vandalia.
They moved it, and moved it during our lifetime. And so we've dealt with floods and stuff before, so we kind of know about that, but never.
Catfish in the street, Rapping says.
Probably is.
He also said he's lived through too many hurricanes. He's doing good. He said he might drive down to Daytona tomorrow, see what's going on. Send us some pictures, all right? Take
Send
some
some stuff.
pictures and text
And,
them to us, or put
you know,
them on our Facebook
I'm
page.
just curious if any of if the hotels damaged at all. Most of the hotels seem to sit up pretty
We
high.
could call the Hard Rock and talk to Tater.
Yeah, you could.
Ralph says, no money, no honey. And Art says, money makes the world go round. Rapping says, catfish in the streets. You're coming back to Myrtle Beach in May. Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan. We've got that on the agenda.
Rapping says, okay, he'll do that. Joseph Smith said, only disaster I've ever had to live through was Chicago.
Much like us, we were originally from the St. Louis area, and to go back now and see St. Louis the way it is now, it almost makes you want to cry. It's just so
Well,
sad.
even the town we were from in Belleville in Illinois, it's not
ghetto.
the same.
It's just really, it's not what we grew up at, and it's really sad. And I see why more people want to get away from the cities and stuff like that, but it ends up taking all these other towns and they're making them in the cities, and so it's just one big circle of life that, it's until people finally say I'm not gonna put up with this anymore. We're not gonna put up with the crime, and just like they were talking about today about New York, that this fire chief lieutenant got stabbed, brutally stabbed, and it's like, and they're ringing with crime, and we don't know what to do. Well, you need to go back and
There needs to be
Well, see, the police can't do anything now.
discipline
Well, the
for
police
your
can't-
conduct.
The police can't do anything anymore. So the idea now is if that lieutenant's being stabbed, I'm the cop. Well, you know, I probably can't shoot them because they're not
Then they'll
stabbing
get in
me,
trouble,
and
yeah.
then I'll lose my job, and then you know
Well, I
all
think
these
it
people
all
will
stems
attack
back
me, and
From like when
and-
we were in grade school, there was corporal punishment. And you thought twice before you did something because you knew you was going to get a SWAT. And it's like, "Ooh, is it really worth me getting caught and getting a SWAT? But now the kids don't have any discipline. They can do whatever they want. And they're like, you can't do anything to me.
And we've met that. We've met people that are teachers that tell us that. We met a lady that can't control her 13-year-old daughter because she called the cops on her and said that she was
So
beating
you're
her.
going to report her to the child at what is it, CFS?
Yeah, whatever it is. I mean, it is. It's just a really screwed up world, and that's kind of like what we like to do with motorcycle rallies because you don't really see so much stuff when you go to motorcycle rallies. You know, most of the people that go to motorcycle rallies are decent people. Not saying there's not some clowns or some assholes or something like that. A guy complaining about the $26 burger. But I mean, overall, it's like somebody else said, I'm so tired of the yuppies coming to these rallies. And I'm like, so I wrote the guy back and I said, you know, you probably got the wrong friends and the wrong people you're hanging around with in the place you're staying at. Because when I go to Sturgis or I go to Daytona, I don't see any yuppies.
Anyway, so yes, Baja, we are going to go to the Milwaukee anniversary. We've got
Yep.
reservations up there, so we'll see you up there. Joe Casey, we'd love to meet you too in Myrtle Beach next spring. So if we don't have each other's number, email us at contactus@bobandtams.com.
Yep.
Contact us at
If you can't remember
bobandtams.com.
that, just go to bobandtams.com. It's our website,
And it'll
and
be on
down
there.
there at the bottom you can click to contact us. And that'll send us an email, and then we'll write you back, and then you'll have the email and a phone number.
Rat Pink says the world has changed quite a bit, that's for sure. That's
Yes,
an
it is.
understatement.
And it's just in the last 10 years. Can
Yeah.
you just imagine if we stay at the rate we are, what 5 or 10 years from now is going to be like?
Jesus is coming back soon. That's what I keep
I
saying.
just hope I don't live too much longer.
Ralph says it's like a movie Escape from New York. Some Jim's on. Hey, Some Jim, how you doing? We're probably gonna get off in a few minutes because we've almost been on 2 hours.
Holy Jennifer Jupiter's Batman. This is what we-
Police can't do their job. That's
which is
it.
true.
That's
and,
it.
And they're scared to. It's just like
Because
we
they're
have,
gonna get in trouble for doing their job.
we have a lot of cops that are a lot of friends that are cops in Los Angeles.
Freedom
And
motorcycle rally
You
time.
can't believe how they're just dying to retire so they can get the hell out of California. Because they see the worst of the worst, where we don't even see what they see and what they have to deal with and all that. And it is a real shame that our country is the way it is.
Yeah.
And I don't have any answers. I don't know. I think what needs to be done is people need to say this enough is enough, and if it doesn't stop, then this is what we're going to do. But
And
the
do
problem-
it.
but
Don't
the
just
problem
threaten, do
the
it.
problem we have is we don't have any leadership. We don't have anybody to lead people to say, this is what we're going to do if they don't, people don't change. Because just because you got a whole bunch of bleeding heart people whining and crying about this guy got killed or that guy get killed, you know, there's 7,000 people died today, and they weren't all in the hurricane. So somebody dies every second. So it's part of life.
Yeah.
And yes, some people are going to get shot, and sometimes people are in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's kind of like today. Somehow I think somebody stole my sticker off the back of my bike in Sturgis for my license plates. So I'm like, bad news is we put the sticker on, and it's not on my plate anymore. And so I had this cop behind me the whole time. He's changing lanes back and forth as we were riding here. And I just acted normal, and I don't know if she noticed he was behind us or not. And he pulled up alongside of us a couple times and pulled in the other lane and got behind us again. But did I jump on the bike and did I start darting through traffic to outrun him, or did I start making moves to my waistline and maybe I might show maybe there's something there? No, I rode normally, and if he went to turn his lights on, I would have pulled over, and then when he walked up, I would have said, if you ran my plate, which he probably already did, and says that I have current
Yeah.
registration.
Because that's what he said he got right before we left. He's like, didn't we get the new sticker for the bike? I said, yeah. He says, it's got 2022 on it. Where's the 2023 sticker? I said, I'm sure you put it on. We got it when we were in Sturgis. And he's like, it's not
I
on
know
there.
I put it on. So somebody in Sturgis must have took it. So, but I mean, I'm not afraid of that, but I'm not going to panic. But if I would have, as soon as he pulled up a couple of times, because I knew he probably was running my plate, because he got really close to me at one of the stop signs. She could have probably touched his car. And I'm like, no big deal. We had the radio on where she's trying to find Dairy Queen, is on the way to come in here, so it just happened. But I didn't do anything stupid to bring attention to myself, because I know I've got insurance. I can find it on my phone. Maybe if the card's not in the bike, it's on my. I got an app. I can pull it up, and he could run the plate. I've got a current driver's license, so I'm not really
No warrants
concerned.
out for his
There
arrest.
and there is a gun in the back of my bike, but I do have a concealed carry card, so it won't be there later. So don't think I got it in there all the time. It's not always where it's supposed to be, but I do have a concealed carry card. And would I have told him it was there? No. But if he ran my license, it would have already showed I carry a concealed carry card, so he probably would have asked. But if I would have gotten into my area where I keep my insurance card and documents and that, the gun would have fell over because it's leaning up against that. So he might have seen it. But I'm not worried about that. But was I going to volunteer the information to him? No. If he wanted to start searching through my bike, then yeah, I would have said, well, while you're in there, you're going to find a 9mm in there. It's lying in there, and it's loaded and ready to go. And it's in a holster, but I don't normally wear it because it's uncomfortable on a bike. But we have concealed carry cards, and we're legal to do that. And that's our right as American citizens. And so we take advantage of our rights. So,
But Joe
But-
says, hang in there, Bob. Good people will prevail.
no,
said,
I don't
agreed,
know that.
Bob.
I don't count on good people will prevail.
Lack of leadership in this country currently.
But see, the problem is our government shouldn't be leading us in the first place. We are the
There you go.
people. We are the people. And until we are the people stand up and say,
and say
this is
enough's
enough,
enough.
there's more people that says things are wrong than people that says we're all victims. We're all victims. We don't, you can't look at me. I'm going to feel bad. You can't, it's like I said, the news said the other day, because I don't really watch the news very often, but when we're traveling like this, I
Well,
like
we're
to turn the
watching
morning news.
because of the hurricane too.
They came on and
Hey,
said
Stephen.
the number one death for kids today is suicide. So I've been asking people, how many people on here right now have had somebody when you were in school, grade school, middle school,
High school.
maybe not so much high school, I think you could say high school, committed suicide because they were stressed out or the world was too bad or something like that. Now I got some friends that got killed in cars. She had a friend guy got killed. He had AIDS. Didn't know he was in school that he was gay, but he sure was.
Well, back then you could have got it from a lot of
You could have
things.
bet money he
Needles-
was.
Needles and all kinds
Yeah,
of stuff.
so-
But anyway.
but he died of
they
AIDS.
They didn't commit suicide.
Yeah, so we don't know anybody. But then when like my grandkids, my oldest one's 16, and then they settle
All the
down
way
to
down
all
to
boys.
6.
And I tell them right now, they're like, the 16-year-old, man, school's so hard, life's so tough. Well. I said, you have no idea how lucky you are where
Would
you're
you like
at.
to have him for a grandpa?
Soon as you get out of school, you're going to have to work your freaking life off the rest of your life till you die, because there's no more pension plans anywhere offering anymore. There's going to be no more retirement, and all you stupid morons want to work for $15 an hour. So you're never going to have a job that's going to pay you any type of benefits. So you're going to be working at Walmart till you die. And
South Dakota's a great state. That's
right.
And,
South Dakota is God's country.
and A. Hill says, amen. They believe that Jesus is coming soon. It's only a matter of
That's
time.
what she keeps thinking. She's like,
Yep.
I don't
Pack your
know.
heat.
It's very possible.
Robert Chamberlain says, we need politicians that are going to work for the people. Sorry for the politicians. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Daytona. Have a great night. All right. Good night, Robert. Stephen's on. Rat Ping says, carry the heat in my boot when I ride. Ralph says, better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
There you go.
Joe says, we will prevail, Bob. And Joseph Smith says, come on, 2024. Ralph says, was he flaming? Well, there's a few we didn't even know about. Anyway, he has a sister heading over 80-year-old parents. He'll have a sister that is leaching, on my 80-year-old parents. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, you get that too. A lot of kids still living at home and stuff. Joseph says, agree, Bob. Last time we had to kick those kids.
But I mean, just
Need them
think,
to
in
buck up.
20 or 30 years from now, those are the kids that are going to be running our government.
Like this.
I don't know. That's what I said. And that's what I said. I've already told you, I think
Oh, it's
motorcycle
scary.
rallies are pretty much here on the West Coast, they're done. I kind of talked to some of the people today in Vegas and stuff about what's going on. They'd like to do something, but with all the red tape and all the stuff that's going on, it just isn't worth it, and there's not enough return on your money. Because it is. All this stuff is about making money. You know, I wouldn't want to put a rally on and lose money. You know, you couldn't do very many of those before you go broke. So the idea is to try to find somebody to help
Adam's
sponsor
on.
stuff. And but see, that's the problem when you look at these rallies is just like Chase that we know, he's been doing, you know, he's got these concerts. And the only reason he's got these concerts is because Prudential paid for them. Insurance.
Progressive.
Progressive Insurance paid for them. And it's your ticket sales didn't pay for them. You don't make it. They're not making enough money to pay Kid Rock 120 to 130,000 dollars to do a concert. No matter how you add the numbers up, just like the millions of people that come to rallies, there are not that many coming to rallies, and so it's not just like where I was at today. I'll say there was lucky if there was, I don't know, a couple hundred people maybe. But I mean, if it was on the news, they'll probably tell us there was 5 to 10,000 people that were at Red Rock today. There wasn't. Nowhere near that. And people, but if you were there, you'd probably say, "Oh yeah, there probably was that many." No, there wasn't.
There was.
You could probably take the camera that I have, and I could probably count every single person that's there because I can't all the way around the event. Yes, people came and left, but there still wasn't any real crowd there. And
Hours.
so yeah, we got a bunch of new people came on.
Yeah, I know Adam's on. Adam Answell's
There you
on.
go.
Joe Casey says
She acted Katie for like 4 hours this
I
morning.
didn't. It wasn't 4 hours. It wasn't even probably an hour. Hey, Bob, this country is in trouble, Joe Casey says. And he says, hi to Adam.
So Adam's on. And what do you think about Daytona? We were talking about this earlier. About Florida's gone through a lot. You know, it's very devastating that it's happened. Do you think it's less than 2 weeks away? Do you think that Daytona should just go full steam and
Have their-
like nothing ever happened in Florida? Do you think that's the way it should be? Do you think they should cancel it? Do you think? What do you think? What's your thoughts? You're the vendor. I know you when you talk about Myrtle that your plan was to be heading to Daytona here shortly. You're probably going to leave here in about a week to head that way.
Yep.
So what's your thoughts? Do you think?
I think they're still going because Katie said something about,
Well, I just wonder what he thinks. You know about the rally. I mean, they've already spent the money and they're not going to get their money back. So it's one of them things that if he didn't go, he would lose that money. He would be that much money more in a hole than he was just in Myrtle. Which Myrtle isn't one of his expensive ones. So, but Daytona probably is one of his more expensive ones, I would think.
I think Amsoil helps him with Daytona, I think.
I think they all.
Or is it only spring?
I don't know. But well, that's my thought. Let Adam write something and tell us what he thinks about. What he thinks Daytona.
Katie's doing good. That's why she called me. Oh, so here's what Adam says. I think they will recover quickly. You may see a decrease in attendees because a lot of the local people that come from areas were affected by the storm, and they have bigger fish to fry right now. But I think a lot of people are going to come from other areas that weren't affected from the storm and will still show up and have a good time. Oh, we got a super chat.
Super chat.
Art.
Art sending money.
The
again.
ice cream's on me today.
Thank you, Art.
Yep. Daniel says my brother killed himself back in '92. I'm sorry to hear that.
Was
Daniel.
he in school?
Was he in high school?
And why? Well,
Sometimes you don't know why.
Well, no, but I mean, a lot of these kids, what they're saying now on the news, when we were talking about suicide with kids today, and always say
That's
that
the number one leading cause of death in
that
kids.
Kids don't realize how easy they have life. And they say, well, it's because of all the bullying. Kids bullied me when I was a kid too, but I didn't kill myself over it. And everybody gets bullied. You bully somebody, somebody's going to bully you. And that's just the way the world goes around. And even as an adult, people will intimidate you or somebody will. But I mean, is that enough? You know, I don't know what's with, if we're just growing a bunch of pansies in the world. And which we see that in California when we live there, that you can't say or do anything. I couldn't even be saying this now. They would shut me down because people would be feeling bad. Because you said that they might be pansies because they're not accepting their responsibility, you know, not life's not. Nobody said life's going to be easy.
No.
But if you're a kid, now there's different stories. You know, if you were a kid and your parents are abusing you or are sexually molesting you every night, I could see something like that. And first of all, you should, as a kid, you should have said something to school, and they should have took your parents and threw them in the slammer, or let a few other guys know to take care of your parents, and they wouldn't be around anymore. But I mean, there's things that could be done than versus killing yourself over it. But I just don't think because there was a kid at school that there's a dozen kids that are bullying me, which I've had that done to me, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to kill myself tomorrow because they bullied me when I was in 4th or 5th grade. They ganged up on me, but that doesn't. That made me decide I want to be different. I want to be different. I want to handle things different. I want to say things differently. So I'm not in that situation. You know, some guys are lucky to be the big burly type that, you know, and then nobody ever said anything to him. But one of her cousins is actually, what is Arnold, about 7'2" and weighs about 400 or 500 pounds. He's not fat.
Big guy.
His hands are like this big. And he used to come to the bars we used to do karaoke at.
And there was
you wouldn't
always-
believe
the
how many
littlest guy would
drunks
always be
pick
picking
on
on him.
him.
And he's
it's
like, just leave me alone. And he'd
like-
go to the other side of the bar, and they'd follow him,
And of course, when if something came up, the first thing the little guy does, he grabs a chair. Well, of course, he's so big that when the guy swings the chair, he just puts his arm up and catches the chair in his hand. And of course, now the bar's yelling at the big guy, her cousin Arnold, and saying, "Oh, we got to throw him out." I'm like, "No, dude, he's with us.
Yeah.
This guy started the shit.
well, they always blame the big guy. They think it's him that did it all.
And
And it was like,
he's the nicest guy in the
Arnold's a
world."
pussycat.
And we know a lot of guys like that. That's like some of the Hells Angels and some of the one percenters we know. Some of them are really, really nice guys and would do anything for you, and they just get a bad rap. But that's all that. What else you got for comments?
Robert Chamberlain says maybe put Daytona back a month to give a little more time to clean up. I don't know if they would be able to do that or not.
Yeah,
but-
which it is, because Daytona is like anything else. It's a big tourist area. The reason they do it this time of year is because it's kind of in between. You know, when you start getting into, here we are into October. If they go to November, you're starting to get the Christmas crowd, Thanksgiving crowd,
Christmas,
all that coming in.
Seasonal.
Unless you're getting up north, you're starting to get snow. So that's, you know, I don't know. I think it's crazy that these rallies have 2 a year. I think the spring they should stick with spring and give up on the fall. To me, a 4-day rally, which it is, most of these rallies end up being a local rally, just like what Adam said. There's probably going to be a really downfall of
Floridians come.
yeah, because people that are pretty much from the western side of Florida that had this issue probably isn't going to come. And let's say even somebody like Ratfink that lives down in St. Augustine's, now he probably might go. But I mean, some of the people that he knows that might normally go into there might work at a place that maybe got damaged or something like that, and they might not have them be able to pay them.
So they probably have to stay and help clean up.
Or that might they have to go to unemployment or something.
Ryder X is on.
Holy smokes, we thought he died.
I haven't seen you the last couple
All
of
right,
lives.
and goodbye. We've seen y'all. We're
We've
going
been
for
on
2.5
2
hours.
hours.
We'll see you later, dude. You missed the show.
Yep. You
about
missed
time
the
for your
whole darn
bed.
thing. It is. It's late for him. What time is it? So it's almost 7, 8, 9, 10.
Saturday, what the hell
there.
you been doing all Saturday?
Well, he's watching his football.
He watches college?
I don't know. I'm just saying that. But I did text him this morning. He said he's doing good. Emery said he's doing good. So I hope all you guys.
Most of the people we don't know other than her friend, my old girlfriend, is the only one that we know that had any trouble. And we know there's other people that are probably subscribers
UFC's watching.
that did have trouble that we just don't know yet. And
I do have a friend that lives in Fort Myers,
Yeah.
Kelly, and she hasn't been on Facebook, but her son wrote and said that she's safe, she's with family, and they got out of Fort Myers. So I bet you her house may not be there when she gets home. So unfortunately,
And so I don't know but that's all that stuff. I don't know.
Put it up.
I don't know. But I guess Daytona will probably go on. There'll probably be a lot less crowd there.
what's the bullet points?
What's the bullet points for today? We're in Las Vegas. It's hotter than hell. Don't believe them when they tell you it's only 91 degrees. It was 99.
We're at Dairy
We
Queen.
went to Dairy Queen and had ice cream because it was hot.
And we're talking
We had
about
a police chase that ended up, I didn't panic, I didn't go crazy, so I didn't get shot. Because I always wonder why people get shot when, I always love, well, now they got PD Live back on, now they call it something else.
LD
But
now.
it's funny when you,
Live Patrol.
when you see,
LP.
you know, and we got a lot of friends that are cops. Her dad was a cop. So we have a lot of people we know that are police. And you know, a lot of us, you know, I've even been complimented by a state trooper because he pulled me over and I left my hands up on the steering wheel when he walked up, and this is like 20 years ago. And that's after he wrote me the ticket. He ended up writing me for a non-moving violation, which I didn't know because he said I ran a stoplight, and I did. But there was something. It was coming off the highway, the 405 in California. But the people that were turning left to get on the highway, the light had already
blocking
changed.
it.
They were blocking the lane, which is a bigger ticket than me running the red light. So I slowed down and I looked, since they were blocking the traffic, I just rolled on through. And then the next light I made a left. And so he pulled me over and he goes, you know why I pulled you over? And of course I said, I always say the same thing. No, not particularly. And then when he said it, I said, well, the guy, you know, they were already blocking the lane. Why didn't you go after them? Well, I was behind you. So then when I got all done, that's what he said. He handed me the ticket and he says, I want to thank you for your cooperation. And I'm like, well, I really didn't do nothing. He said, no, you had your hands up on the steering wheel when I walked up. You had your window down. You didn't make any sudden movements. You know, when I said I needed, he said, well, insurance. I said, well, it's in the glove box. And we went open the glove. You know, we told him everything we were going to do. And didn't make any
This
sudden
was
movements.
before all the
Oh, yeah.
hubbub
As I
of
say,
all
this is
the
20 years ago.
craziness.
Plus. And so, yeah, I've always had that respect. But, I mean, I would never think in my life that if I'm walking across the field or a park and a cop yells, stop,
Or I'll shoot.
I would run. Because that bullet goes faster than I can run. I don't run that damn fast. And so why people do that, I don't know. But then when something happens like that, oh, that poor guy, he was the nicest guy in the world. Last week he was beating the hell out of a whole bunch of old people and stealing their money, but he's the nicest guy in the world. He would have been president someday if you wouldn't have shot him.
Well, when we first moved to California, we were watching the news, and this grandmother was taking care of his 13-year-old grandson. And I think he ended up getting shot. I don't think he ended up getting killed. My poor baby, he's so good. He's such a good boy. Okay, two things. He's 13 years old. He's driving his grandma's car at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he wouldn't pull over when the police turned their lights on. And so they shot him, but like I said, I don't think they killed him. But how can your poor grandbaby be such a good boy when he's driving your car at 2 o'clock in the morning when he's 13 years old? That doesn't add up. I don't think he was such a good little boy.
She didn't know where he was.
No.
It was
thought
her
he
car.
Not sleeping.
It was her car.
I don't know. It's just crazy.
But
The
he
whole
was a
world's
poor
still
little
crazy.
baby. He never done nothing wrong.
No, he's such a good boy. He's a good boy.
And I just said, you know,
Doesn't
no,
drive and dodge.
there's profiling of people,
Run,
and I
boys.
understand that, you know, if you're a certain ethnic color or you're a certain whatever you are, that people are going, just like when 9/11 happened, anybody that was pretty much from the Eastern world all got looked at every time you got on an airplane. You would look, which I did, you'd look through the crowd and you'd say, okay, who's here
That could do harm to us.
yeah, that could be a bad guy. And the pilots did that. They'd all walk around and look and
Racial profiling. That's
Yeah.
when that
And-
term started.
and hey,
Good and terrible. I know.
and you know, it's a sad thing. Same thing happened back when Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. Everybody that was Japanese here in California all got put in a camp.
Concentration camps.
One of them right up here on the 395. It's still a big sign out there where it shows where the camp was at. It's not there anymore. But no matter what, because you were Chinese or Japanese, you had to go to the concentration camp.
Because they didn't know if they could trust you or
That's
not.
right. Didn't know if you were a spy or whatever. Well, I didn't realize, which I guess Neil told me. We were talking when we went up on the West Washington. We went to a bunch of these army posts. You know, it had cannons and all this stuff on it, and they were for World War II. The Japanese had a submarine that got within shooting range here. Well, Neil told me the Japanese actually had a base in Alaska. This was
Really?
before we owned Alaska.
Wow.
It was part of the country. I guess we didn't
Yeah.
own it, but it was before it was. They had
Before
a
it was
base
part
there.
of
I
the
said,
United
wow, I
States.
didn't. I just, we always go to these forts. It's usually cavalry forts that you see, from the Indians and all that kind of stuff back then. Or you're down in Texas and it's a Mexican war, but you never really would think that during World War II we were that close
Well, they
to
said
the
that
action.
even one of the submarines took a shot at the West Coast. That was the only shot that hit the mainland, and I don't think it didn't do any damage, but that's why all those forts and
Let's see,
stuff
all
are
of
there
our
on the
history
West
when we were
Coast.
in school and stuff, when we still had history, never said nothing about that.
No,
And I don't think they wanted people to panic to think that a small country like Japan could get that close to us. And
know.
but it was really,
That's what
it was
Neil said.
eye-opening by looking at that and thinking, wow, they were that close, and
so if there's ever another big war, like if this Ukraine-Russian thing doesn't get resolved
well, it ended up
soon,
being a nuclear war. We'd all blow up anyway.
I know.
Well, it depends on where you're at. If you're out in South Dakota, probably the bomb wouldn't hit you because there ain't nothing there worth them shooting at. But I mean, if you're in Washington, D.C., you're probably in Florida, Miami,
New
all the
York,
big cities,
LA.
even in St. Louis, Seattle, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Texas, probably
San Francisco.
Houston, San Antonio, all the major cities is the ones they're going to bomb.
Well, another thing that scares me is we see all these movies that they say with the flip of a switch, they can shut off our whole grid. If we lost internet, electricity, gas, we'd all die.
Well, there's-
Within a week.
We watched an old show of 9/11, that TV show 9/11, and 911.
911.
And it was when they showed that a pirate got in and they set everything down. She realized that at the hospital, all your medical records now are all electronic. They've gotten rid of all the paper records.
They made it mandatory. I think it was by 2015.
So if you were in the hospital right now and you were on heart medicine, you were having a heart attack and they had all this stuff on you and all this stuff, and the system went down, they have no idea what to give you.
They would have no idea when to give you, how much to give you.
They won't even know what they gave you last time.
Because it's all electronic
It's in
charging
a
now.
computer.
So yeah, it's scary.
That
And it's like,
little
who
bit-
made that rule that every hospital by 2015 or 2017, whatever it was, had to be electronic charting by that date? And I think there's parts that can still be handwritten, documented, but everything that you
Our
handwrite.
doctor puts everything in the computer when we go. So everything is computer generated. Now her forms and stuff that has to get filled out, he fills out the form and
Well, they
inspects.
scan it and it goes into my chart, my electronic
Yeah.
chart. So
Once it's probably written,
it's
they
scary.
destroy it. So yeah, when you think about what we rely on, just like your phones, but it's like what we're doing now. If the system went down, we couldn't contact you, couldn't talk to you. One, we couldn't go anywhere anyway. You wouldn't have any, the gas you have in your car is all you would have. You'd have to get a siphon hose
It's just-
to go to the gas station and pump it out of the big tank in the ground to get it into your car. But they say, which I don't know, but the way the cars are now, it could be. They say if the grid goes down, it could affect vehicles, newer vehicles that are computer operated, that ones that rely on information like Tesla, for instance. That might be an example of a car that we just shut down. We drive down the highway, the system went down, the car might go down. Now, if you had an old car, an old Impala, 66 Impala or something like that,
old car.
it wouldn't, it could
It
care
probably
less.
wouldn't know.
It would care less because there's nothing.
Other than gas, if you didn't have
Yeah.
any gas.
But I mean, you could siphon a gas out of the ground and get by. But I mean, that's what it was. We bought rations of food a couple years ago. It's good for like 25 years. I've got, I don't know, a couple months worth of food. And we got the RV and it's always full of gas. So, I mean, you only last so long. And
Joe Casey said, if you're not doing anything black or white, what's the problem when to obey their command, which
that's
is
right.
true.
And that's what I say. And it doesn't matter if it's a black or white cop. To me, it's still, not
That's
everybody.
his job. He's there to serve and protect, and he's to
Yeah.
protect you. And if you're a threat
Well,
to
just
yourself
like
or
watching this
whatever,
PD when people say, too many people watch crap on the internet and they think they can get away with whatever they tell you on the internet. We're not lawyers. And and nobody out here is telling you they're not going to go to court for you. So when they tell you, I always love it when there was somebody on PD Live the other night I was watching and the guy goes, you can't open my door.
Oh, yeah. No, roll down the window.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
open
first
the door.
said roll your window down. The guy didn't roll it down, so he grabbed the whole door handle and opened it up. The guy goes, "You can't open my door."
You're infringing on my rights. I have rights. You can't open my
He goes,
door.
"What rights am I infringing on?" He said, "Well, you're touching my door." And he's like, "Dude, I can't see you. Your windows are tinted," which I would have made him scratch his windows off. What I would have done if I was the cop. But he's like, "I'm just asking you for your question." And he's like, the guy wouldn't want to tell him his
Oh,
name.
no,
He
he
didn't want to
kept,
give him anything.
all he was concerned about was the cop opened his door
And
without his permission.
I forget the reason. I don't know if he had a tail light out or whatever. What the reason he originally pulled up to him on. And but I mean, this guy just was the third degree. And it was a white guy too. So it was a young white guy, probably in his 30s, giving the cop a hard time. And it's like, dude, I would have just said, dude, shut the door and I'll roll the window down for you.
Yeah.
That's what he should have said.
Or I'd
But
have
the-
rolled it down and say, okay, now you can shut the door, you can talk to me.
Yeah.
But no, the guy just kept going on and on. So Larry Blevins said that they did torpedo a few ships off the west coast. I didn't know that.
Yeah, see, I don't
And then
know.
they said, don't forget the missiles in the silos in Nebraska. And
There's a lot of missiles all over you. No matter what they
St.
say
Louis, there's a lot.
that they got rid of all this stuff in the United States, they didn't get rid of nothing. Just like Russia and all these other countries. But the idea is you don't want all these other crazy countries like Iran and all these other people that are just nuts to have missiles that could kill people. At least Russia and America and some of these other, even China, would think, secondly, first of all, if China bombed us, they would die overnight because even if we didn't bomb them, they rely on all of our money to support everything they do.
So if they got rid of us, they'd be SOL.
Yeah, they die. They got all of our pork supply, so.
Joseph Smith said that he used to watch a Preppers TV show when it was on. He said there's a lot to worry about if the grid goes down. Joe Casey says anything cops stop, please just give them, anything cop stops, just give him, I guess, respect. Oh, Mon's on. Hey, Mon, how you doing? How is it over there? I guess it's morning for you guys. Baja says, remember those gasoline shortages 2 years ago in Myrtle Beach because of the
Yeah.
pipeline hack? Yep. I mean, it can happen. I think that could happen so easily, and they're just waiting for
See, I always say that in the first place.
whatever.
The government here in our United States, it was like when Trump was trying, I think he even said that before when he was in office, that, we got all these young kids that could hack anything. Why don't they work for our government? And they could probably,
Stop the hackers,
yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Or that,
Or see if somebody's trying to hack us.
Yeah, and it's like, I know, because a lot of the stuff that happens, I think it's a lot of younger kids, it could be 25 or 30 and it could be younger, and doing stuff just to see if they could do it. And not necessarily saying, hey, I want to be a terrorist. I just, hey, Joe, come over here and let me show you what I can do on my computer. Oh, look, power grid shut down today. See, I got in there. Your password wasn't that hard to find.
Rhetoric says Japanese occupied the Finton Islands near Alaska from June 3rd, 42 through August 15th, 1943.
And
that's
so,
crazy.
yeah, I didn't know that. And I don't know if they taught us in school. I
Fuel's a
don't
big
remember
issue.
it.
Need
But-
dry food, water, ammo, clothing, and barter. Stuff to barter with, yeah.
That's right. That's why I always tell
No
people when they
more
always say they
rights.
got gold and silver, they're putting all their money into that. I always tell people, if it comes down to the very end, and I've got a box of cereal that you could eat, and you got a rock that's gold, will you trade me for it? I don't want your gold rock, and I don't want your silver. It won't do me any good.
I want my silver. I want my box of Cheerios.
Yeah. So when people all say that, well, we're keeping that to the end. Well, when it gets down to the end, I don't want your rock and I don't want your metal. It's not good for anything. Well, I guess the silver we could melt it down for bullets, but I mean, silver would be a little tough to, I'd rather have some lead coins if you have any. They'd be a little easier to do. Some fishing lures. I'd trade you some fishing lures for a box of cereal, maybe.
When my dad was over in, I guess he went to China, didn't he? Not Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And the pollution over there is horrific. And that's what they would do. They would shoot stuff up in the clouds to make it rain, to try to clear up the air a little bit. So that's what they said, that they have these, he says Japan also uses jet streams to send biological weapons via balloon. So it's just crazy.
Well, it is. It's just a crazy world. That's what she keeps saying.
Stock up on booze and cigarettes, bartering. Might help.
It
I
would.
don't
That
know.
would work probably. That way, because and well, it is. They always say during the worst of times, bars do the best business.
Yeah.
Because people want to forget about their troubles. So that's a good idea. Might have to do that. I got a lot of liquor.
We do. And we
do.
don't drink. Got a whole bar full.
I probably got $5,000 or more of liquor.
If it's
lot of
still
them are
any
collectible
good.
bottles.
Yeah.
They're all
Our
sealed
country
up.
would never survive another 4 years of Trump.
Well, Well, I don't know. I'm just saying it doesn't matter who it is. It's just that I actually wish we would just get rid of the government altogether. And
We, the people, run it. I think
Yeah.
we would do a much better job than the politicians.
you'd be better off going back to the olden days where, hey, what do you got that I could use? You know, hey, I can wire your house for you, and you give me your cow, so we can butcher it and we'll have meat for the
What
next
they
year.
said, a cheap pistol and a box of ammo may get you a tank of gas or a side of beef. Precious metals are going to be, what to own precious metals is going to be ammunition.
Yeah, but I mean, silver's hard to melt down. You know, so you got to be a pretty hot fire to make
Well,
a
that's what
silver
he
bullet.
says.
Only the long ranger shoots with silver.
That's what they said. Your precious metal you're
I
going to
know.
own is ammunition.
I know.
All right, Harley Frank's on, Ryder X, check the facts. I'm going all the way to say. Anyway, we need to go. We've been on an hour, 2.5 hours.
We got to ride back now at dark. You know, there's wild animals out here in Vegas. There's whatever they are, scorpions and rattlesnakes, and might slip on one.
Polly P's on too. They're all coming on now.
Yeah.
Most people carry nationwide would be better. Yeah. That's what they say. The people, the cities that have where you can carry guns have least crime than the cities that they took away the guns. Like Chicago, for instance. There's more crime there now since they took away people's guns.
Well, see that's the problem too, because it's just like here.
I should
If
have
if
brought that
if somebody robbed this place today, and I'm sitting here, and let's say I am armed, and I shoot the guy on the way out, I'm going to jail because that guy didn't threaten me. See, that's where the stupid laws come into effect. That if we should go back to the old west, I can draw pretty fast out of my 6-shooter, and go back to that, and the best man lives. And, you know, and it's,
Locked and loaded in North Carolina.
we got a crazy neighbor across the street from me, and I'm going to be taken care of soon. And I mean, guy comes from East LA, and he thinks he's in our neighborhood, and he thinks,
He's all
"Oh,
that in
we're
a bag of
the-" yeah.
chips.
And his kids are
Hey,
mean and
James.
snotful, and they're punk kids. They're like, if they're in junior high, it's a lucky. And they smart off my son-in-law, and he's all body build and everything, and it's like, dude, kid, you have no idea. You have no friends here. This isn't East LA. And
And I do. I try to be nice. I try to wave when I see them. You know, if
They
we're
don't
going
care.
out, they're coming out, and they just look at me like, "Why are you waving at me?" And I'm like, "I'm just trying to
But
be
they just think they're
neighborly."
bad, and when we're not there, we hear all kinds of stories the neighbors are all talking about and stuff, and it's like, well, we take care of people like that, and it's just old school, and it is what it is, and that's what really needs to
We
be
the people.
done in America. Is people need to say enough is enough, and we're not going to put up with this stuff anymore. And when would that ever happen?
Everyone will
Never.
love the strict gun laws. I know, because they're the only ones that can get the guns.
Yeah,
Anyway, wrap it up.
you're wrapping it up.
We need to. We've
you
been
going?
on too
You're going to
long.
the bathroom. You got a bathroom in here?
Yes, it's around the corner. So we'll say goodbye first. So thanks for hanging out with us,
See y'all.
especially
We're,
all you
we're
guys.
on now live for the next 2 hours. You're watching the Bob and Tam show. So welcome to the show. We just got here at Dairy Queen, and you just came online. So thanks for coming on and checking out our channel today.
So you guys have a great night. Prayers for everybody out there that's still without power, that still needs help, and especially if your homes got destroyed. So
Go live on
subscribe-
Wednesday.
Yep.
Normal time.
Subscribe.
We'll have something new to talk about.
Are you done?
No.
Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share us with your family and friends. Think about Patreon.
Got words
Give
in
us a
front of
big-
your face.
They can't
there they
see
go.
that. They
They're
can't.
back.
They can't see that.
Your
Give us a
texts are in
big
front of
thumbs
her
up.
face.
That's okay. Give us
You
a
gotta
big
lean this
thumbs
way,
up.
you don't see it.
They can't. They can't see
Now the
it.
words aren't in her face.
Anyway, see ya. Bye. Thanks. Love ya. Adios.
Muchacho. See you later. Alligator.